we're going to have a debate, okay?
I never said second law or entropies, and
You said it yesterday several times.
Wait.
Well, before you debate,
we're going to have a debate,
and he started claiming.
Yeah, if we're going to have a debate, WITSIT, we're going to ask you a question. Are you a criminal?
No.
No, look, it's not about the individual. No, look.
Okay, so one time I went. No, I'm just gonna respond because y'all are gammas. So one time I went to Walmart, and I was in a hurry, and I detailed cars, and I didn't grab a cart. So what I started doing was like picking up tons of supplies and setting them on the shelf beside each other. So whenever I was ready to go, I was gonna grab them all at once. I forgot I needed something for my car, one of those little things that holds your phone, so I could put my GPS while I go to the next appointment. I went and got one of the Walmart brand clips. It's like $5. I put it in my jacket as I picked all the stuff up off the shelf. I self-checked out and forgot it was in my pocket. I had like $400 or $500 cash in my pocket and spent like $200 on supplies at the same time. He wouldn't let me pay for it. The cop apologized to me, argued with them, and said I have no choice if they choose to press charges. And I got arrested for a $5 clip being in my pocket after spending $170 and having $500 cash.
I mean,
on.
I don't know.
Do you want to stop? You want to stop bringing it up now?
You don't got to explain, WITSIT.
Sounds like
you don't got to explain. Look, all they're interested.
I've been arrested for assault PC. I've been arrested for fucking assault doorman. I've been arrested for fucking loads of things. So fucking what?
No. Here's the thing. I'm not embarrassed of my past. I've been arrested for weed a lot. Like just straight up broke the law, arrested for weed over and over and over. And what I did was I got out and I went and got some more weed. But whenever it comes to someone saying that I'm a shoplifter, that's just patently false. I explained what actually happened. I don't care what you think of me. Now, if you want to
you've explained it
with
now. That's fair
specificity
enough.
to the actual point, that'd be cool.
Fuck what he's done. So what? Been arrested is cool.
That sounded like the crime of the century right there. WITSIT. That was the crime of the century.
All right, so
exactly.
Unbelievable.
Holy shit! I stole a $5 phone clip from Walmart on accident. Oh my god.
You are what a common slip up. I don't think anyone can hold that. What I can hold against you though is your claim that entropy actually is some kind of force that allows gas or causes gas to expand from.
I guess it's a good thing I never said that, huh?
You did. That's not.
No, I did not. What you mean on McToon show?
Yeah, you.
Yeah, what I said on McToon show is that entropy will increase. I didn't say anything that you just said.
So what, man? I've been arrested so many times. Who gives a shit? Let's move on.
I haven't queued up. Wait.
No, we are.
Yeah, we're gonna begin in a second. We're gonna hit the 45 seconds. Zanik, listen to what I'm saying. We're gonna give you 45 seconds as usual. Then obviously Wits is gonna get his 45 seconds.
Google astronaut gets arrested.
I think that's fair enough. Yeah, everyone happy with that?
Yeah, whatever.
So last night, WITSIT was talking to McToon.
McLooney Tunes, yep.
McLooney Tune about the environment, about gas pressure being part of the atmosphere, and that being next to a presupposed vacuum of space. He said that's not possible because entropy increases. That was his answer. And that shows me, or implies that entropy is some type of force that causes this to happen. Entropy is only a measure of what happens in a process. In fact, if gases expand from high pressure to low pressure, and there is work being done, there could be no change in entropy. So that is a falsehood, and that is one of the more commonly misunderstood aspects of the second law. Entropy is just a thermodynamic property of the second law. It's not a force by any way, stretch, or means. It is not in any way, shape, or form talk about high pressure moving to low pressure. It talks about heat flow, a special type of energy.
A
specific type of energy moving from
Zanik, let me mute you. Time. So, WITSIT.
Okay. Yeah, so he just strawmanned me after I just told him that he strawmanned me, okay? And he explained it. He said, so in my opinion, what that means is, and then he continued to strawman my argument. So what I said was entropy increases. So according to the second law of thermodynamics, spontaneous equilibrium will be sought. A spontaneous equilibrium will be sought, okay? So I said if there was a near perfect vacuum, because a vacuum is a conceptual idea anyway, and it was adjacent to a pressurized system, that low pressure system would obviously cause, or the high pressure system would migrate to the low pressure system because entropy would increase. Now that's my argument. Now if you want to switch what I'm defining entropy as, that's called a straw man.
No, can I?
Hold on, I've got 5 seconds. Danny, I'll call time for goodness sake. Fine.
It's all good. That's it.
He said it really quickly. He said, therefore, entropy would increase. No, actually, high pressure can be next to low pressure, and we see that every day. You go to 20,000 feet, half the pressure at 20,000 feet, yet air does not move. High pressure does not move.
Hold on,
at 20,000.
Chemo.
Bad example.
you're
Oh no, he's
moderating.
still got 15. It's only 15 seconds.
High pressure does not move to low pressure. It's very steady. Why? Because there is an equilibrium and there's a gradient due to the air's weight. So entropy does not increase. Air does not move from high pressure to low pressure. And so therefore that is an incorrect statement.
Okay. So actually, here's the deal, man. You're making a claim contrary to natural law, which is that entropy will increase inevitably because spontaneous equilibrium will be sought and the gas will fill the available space. That's not arguable. That's a natural law. You're making a claim contrary to that. Your replacement for the physical containment preventing that equilibrium being sought is gravity. So instead of trying to act like it just wouldn't happen, because under your own paradigm that isn't even accurate, how about you try to actually defend and argue your stance you're forced to take, which is that gravity acts as the containment?
Yes, gravity is a force because weight is a force, and that is exactly what. But the second law, nowhere in the second law does it talk about air pressure moving from high to low. It only speaks about heat flow going from hot to cold. It has nothing to do with pressure moving.
Hey, is it warmer in a high pressure system compared to a low pressure system?
I'm still talking. So throughout the atmosphere, it goes from hot or warm to cold, back to warm again, back to cold again. It changes. That does not determine the direction of where the air goes. We're talking about pressure gradients. We're talking about pressure differentials, and pressure differential does not seek an equilibrium. If there's a force that overcomes that differential pressure, it will not move, and so entropy will not change. So entropy doesn't dictate anything. Entropy is only a measurement of what happened in a thermodynamic process.
I never said it dictated anything. You strawman me for the third time.
Can I just say something to what he said real quick? He said temperature doesn't control where the air goes. Do we not know that hot air rises and cold air falls?
Yeah, and is a high pressure system warmer than a low pressure system?
Not always, no. What do you mean, haha?
I think
No,
you're
it's
funny.
not.
That's how I laugh at you.
It's
Okay.
not.
You claim that there is a near perfect vacuum, although that's conceptual. There's no such thing as a vacuum because of a few
I wanna respond.
There you go. You gotta interrupt me. You're afraid to hear me dismantle your religion.
A vacuum.
Did you go to the bathroom?
You're afraid that I'm going to dismantle your religion, huh?
So, WITSIT, what dictates a hot thing?
What?
Is there a
Okay,
high
so
pressure?
we're gonna let Zanik just strawman me for 45 seconds, and then I don't get to respond.
Yeah,
so
you get
I'm gonna
45
respond now.
seconds. Yeah, you get
You know what I
45.
said?
Hold on, everyone. Let's WITSIT get 45 seconds. Go for it, man.
All right. So very simply, the globe Earth is making the positive claim here. He's attempting to shift the burden of proof. He's also strawmanning me, saying I said entropy causes something, when obviously that's a resultant, a description of what takes place because the pressurized system is adjacent to the near perfect vacuum. You claim a near perfect vacuum, which is conceptual. There's no such thing as a perfect vacuum because there's a few hydrogen atoms per cubic meter.
Because
But
no
for all
one
intents and
says that.
purposes,
No one said
within
that.
your religious
No,
paradigm, I'm almost done. But for all intents and purposes, within your religious paradigm, it's called a vacuum, which is conceptual, and that it's adjacent to a near pressurized system at the surface, 14.73i, gradually dissipating. The question is not about the dispersal or the dissipation rates. That is a quantitative relationship, the gradient. The antecedent is what is being questioned.
Fine.
Do you understand the difference? You're conflating quantitative and antecedent.
I have the answers to both of those comments.
I didn't
Number
realise
one.
I was on
Right,
mute,
45
sorry.
seconds,
Didn't
Zanik.
mean to
And
laugh.
then, Zanik, after
Can I
this,
respond?
Zanik, after your 45, can we get another baller to mix it up with
Right.
WITSIT? So, go for it, Zanik. 45, off you go.
So you're strawmanning me. I never spoken anything about a perfect vacuum, never even insinuated one. I said there is a pressure differential pressure gradient. It goes from 14.7 up to near zero as you go higher. And that's proven, measured, observed, predicted, and not in question here, I don't think, maybe by you. So high pressure not moving to low pressure or vice versa is not part of the second law at all. Show me one spot where it is, because you won't find it anywhere. It only talks about heat movement, heat flow direction, hot to cold. Energy can go from high to low or low to high. It can go. You can shine a flashlight at the sun, and your energy is going out everywhere toward the sun. It can be absorbed by the sun. That's not a part of the thermodynamic property of the second law. Entropy is what happens in a process. The increase of microstates, the usable energy,
Time.
the energy that is unusable to do work.
Can we get rocket
Yeah.
scientists first? Can we get rocket scientists?
Real fast, I have about 10 seconds to say. With all that talking, Zanik still didn't respond to the fact I pointed out. He's conflating quantitative and antecedent. So who's next?
No, the antecedent.
Yeah.
Can we get rocket scientists? Rocket scientists, come on. You've got 2 degrees in this shit. And we don't want to hear Zanik's babble on and not fucking address anything that Witch is saying. Come on,
Well, it doesn't matter.
rocket scientists,
Anyone can
step
have,
up.
Romy, anyone can have the 45 seconds, but let's just do it.
Hey, well, for any glober, I mean, isn't gravity the strongest, closest to the center of mass?
No.
Yeah.
Moleman,
Someone
go.
said no.
Moleman, go.
Yeah, isn't it m1, m2 over r squared?
Right. So closest to the center of mass, gravity is the strongest, right?
No.
Should be.
No.
I think.
Right. Yeah. Even under the general relativity paradigm, it's that way. So that isn't mutual mass acceleration, but the gravity
I said
well
that's under
that's resulted
Newtonian,
in the
buddy.
warping of space-time is relative to the center of mass. So.
No, it's not.
Davros,
Oh,
hold on.
so the gravity well that's formed around a mass in space isn't relative to its center of mass?
Because that would depend on the shape of the object, and that's why
Yeah.
you're wrong.
Oh, okay. So, well, you claim the Earth's a ball, and the center of mass would be the
I
strongest place
didn't
of
say
gravity.
that. Straw man, motherfucker.
Well,
Right.
we're talking about if the Earth's a ball or not. So, just a second.
Yeah, but I didn't
Just
say
a
that.
second.
I said it
gotta go talk to
depended
my
on the
second.
shape of the object, didn't I?
Davros, do you want to talk about it or?
No. He's
What's the
straw manning
clown?
my fucking position. I never said that. I said it depended on the shape of the object.
Is
Okay,
your
but what
position that
is
Earth's not a ball?
Yeah, what's your position? That the Earth's not a
Did
ball?
I say anything about the fucking planet?
What's your position though on the shape of the
We were
planet?
talking
All right, I'm
Oh my
back.
god,
There is
you
no planet.
bunch of illiterate idiots!
Look at it. Look.
I said it depended on the
Davros.
shape of the object,
Calm
would depend
down.
on center of mass.
You're spiraling.
Yeah, but there's a context.
No,
to the
this is my
argument.
natural state, you twat. My
Davros.
entropy is equalized.
His response to
no,
spiraling was to
context.
scream louder.
Exactly, because you're a fucking retard, WITSIT. Everything you say is bullshit.
All right. No ad
Calm
homs, no ad
down,
homs.
buddy.
Davros,
Really?
Have a glass of water.
Let
Have a glass of
Moleman-
water. You spiraling. You've
Go
lost.
smoke a
All
joint,
right, you
dude.
bunch of dumb cunts. All right,
Hold-
what did I say? What
Yeah,
did
you
I
said
fucking
girlfriend.
say?
You need a
What
girlfriend,
did
bro.
I say? What was my
I couldn't hear
statement?
you because you was drowning on your tears when you was talking.
Yeah,
so I couldn't
what
hear
was
what
my
your words were saying.
statement? Yeah,
You was
yeah,
drowning
go
on
on,
your
repeat
tears.
the
You
statement I
too scared.
made.
You said it mattered. It depends
Go
on the shape.
Just to be clear,
Exactly.
his position-
That was
Okay,
it.
well,
position is
what
not
I'm
Earth's a
talking
ball.
about is that in the heliocentric model, okay, now you want to say I didn't say anything about that. Well, too bad that's what we're talking about, you clown. So in the heliocentric model, there is the general relativity which causes gravitational orbits in the entire heliocentric aspect that you tout. That is relative to the center of mass of the spherical celestial bodies orbiting one another based on the dispersal of mass and the warping of space-time, resulting in a gravity well that is relative to the center of the mass of that object, and that is objective.
No, hold on. You still have misconception when they say the center of mass.
It's are dependent on the Berry center of the object, not necessarily center of mass. You're wrong on that.
Hey, if I'm on Earth, where's the strongest the gravity is?
It's close to the center of the planet.
So the center of mass is the strongest gravity, correct?
Your question is
Fucking
wrong.
dumb shit.
Your question is wrong because let's assume that you
No, it's
went to
not.
the
You can't get down to the core of the Earth. So where's it strongest when you're on the Earth? It's at the ground level. Get it through your
Shut
thick
the fuck
skull.
up, you little
Fucking
cunt.
pedantic
I'm
prick.
speaking.
Listen to what he's saying.
I'm speaking.
Answer the argument.
Mute.
Answer
A
the argument
moderator,
directly.
please.
Romy, please.
Mod.
Yeah.
Thank you. So for your question is wrong because it gives a leeway for someone to say, if I go to that center of the mass, will I feel any gravity force? The question is no.
I
it will
didn't
fit
ask
in different
that. So you're just making up. You're arguing something that no one said, bro. You're arguing against something no one said.
Let me elaborate.
That's called a
Let me
straw
elaborate.
man fallacy.
It's a question. Your formation of your question is inevitably wrong, dude. Its presumption is wrong. It's not the center of the mass where the gravity is the strongest. The strongest is in the surface. When you get inside the surface, the strength of the gravity will start to drop because you start to piling up mass behind you.
Oh, so you weren't listening. Oh, so I said that since gravity is the strongest at the center of a mass, it's the strongest at the surface. So it seems like you're a full 30, 45 seconds behind this conversation. So I think you should probably stop acting like you're teaching people, you know? Yeah, so as it is relative to my premise, maybe you should respond. On Earth, the surface is the closest you can get to the center of mass, so that is the strongest gravity would be.
Yes.
Right. Right, okay, that was my premise. So now that we've understood my premise, at the surface of the level, or the surface of the Earth, close to the center of mass, where gravity is the strongest, if I let gas out of a container, it will disperse in all directions, yes or no? Or correct or incorrect?
It is above absolute zero temperature.
If I let out oxygen at the surface level, it'll go in all directions, right? And that's at the surface level, and that's closest to the center of mass where the gravity should be the strongest. Yet in your model, you want us to believe that it doesn't prevent the omnidirectional dispersal of gas to the surface level, closest to the center of mass, but miles and miles away, way up further away from the center of mass, it stops, flips back on, and it prevents the equilibrium being sought. That seems pretty stupid, doesn't it?
There's a force that...
Yeah, Boona,
I have a question for WITSIT. So do you propose that in view of your gas pressure, etc., do we have a dome holding us in
Gas
constant
pressure,
pressure?
Falsification is independent of replacement.
Basement, bitch.
Do we have a dome?
What does those three words
There is
mean?
a dome that is a sealed container.
Falsification is
Container,
independent
a
of...
dome over the flat Earth.
My friend, I'm not making
I'm
a
just
definitive...
asking the question, do you
I know.
believe...
I'm trying to answer it. I don't make a
So
definitive...
how is the pressure maintained?
It seems like you
How
don't
is the
want to hear
pressure
the answer. It
maintained
seems
if
you've
there's not a
predetermined my
sealed
answer.
container?
Okay, this is
No,
my
I'm
actual
asking
answer.
what the container is. Is there a dome?
Are you wanting me to answer, or you just want to...
Boona,
just wanna
you gotta
talk
let him respond
yourself?
a little bit, yeah?
Yeah, so I don't make any definitive claims about the nature of the Earth. That's what I just got out of, and that would be very ignorant to do that, void of empirical evidence. So speculatively, yes, I would say there's something acting as the container. Now, you want to use the word dome. I'm not making a claim as to what it's called, the characteristics of it, but it is physically preventing equilibrium being sought if there was a vacuum up there, which, by the way, there just isn't a vacuum up there. So is there a gradual dispersal of the medium into what is above us? Very possibly. The reason that the physical part comes in is y'all claim there's a vacuum up there. See, I don't think there's a vacuum up there. I don't need it. I don't need anything. So falsification is independent of replacement,
You need
bro.
to lay off the amphetamines, man.
I don't take amphetamines, dude.
No, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, but I've got a. Sorry,
You
sorry.
like
I've got
me
a
just
problem
listen,
here.
just because he talks fast and intellectually fast and you can't keep up with it, doesn't mean that what he's saying is incorrect. The fact of the matter is, he's
Wait, I was
intuitive,
trying to make a point.
he's spontaneous, and he's in the moment, and he's sharp, and he's on point every single time, every turn. And you all you little lot can't bring nothing to the table.
Like, Brummy, I wanted to respond to him then.
Well, don't come in with your insults first, then. Don't come in with your insults.
I'm not coming in with an insult this time. I wanted to respond to the point.
Oh, man.
Calm down. Come flapper.
Yeah, why don't you calm down? You're the one who's going
Never, man. We'll move on. Guys, it's all, Brumby, thanks, but it's all good. You don't have to white knife for me. These gammas cannot hurt my feelings. Go.
WITSIT, listen. Okay, so you just said that there's supposed to be an equilibrium. You realize a gradient is technically an equilibrium, right?
Yeah, you do realize I said seek equilibrium, right?
Yeah.
So is seeking equilibrium and equilibrium synonymous? Or are those different things?
Can you answer the question? Do you realize a gradient is technically an equilibrium because it equals out and gradually goes down at an equal rate, right?
At an equal rate?
Just for simples.
For simples.
Okay? That's what equilibrium means, is to do it equally, right?
Yeah. Okay. Now, do you understand the difference in seeking equilibrium and a state of equilibrium?
The shit's not sentient.
Okay, well, I know you're right, but for intents and purposes. So, is that all you got as semantics?
Yeah. No. So think about this.
I'll rephrase it, bro. The process of equilibrium being attained.
That's cool. But
versus a state of equilibrium.
Yeah, hang on. Just try this. Say you've got a white piece of paper and a piece of charcoal, right? And you press hard with it to start shading. And then as you lift that pressure, you start shading lighter and lighter until you go to white, right? That's a gradient of shading.
Oh,
correct?
wow. Holy shit, the Earth is a ball.
No, that was
No. Hang on. But does that mean that blackness from the charcoal continues all the way into the white?
I don't know. That sounds racist, bro. It's a spectrum of dispersal. What's your point?
Thank you.
Yeah, well, good thing it's still my original. This is funny. My premise, the preface that I already gave, refutes your rebuttal, and you're just not fast enough or smart enough to keep up. I'll explain how, though.
That's a gradient.
You're conflating quantitative and antecedents. I've already said that. My preface refutes your rebuttal.
That's not.
No.
That's a
my
gradient.
premise. My friend,
I
my
just
premise
explained
is,
a gradient,
but
and
my
you
friend,
just go on and do the Oakley
no,
shit.
my premise is the antecedent. Your rebuttal is quantitative, which means it's a red herring fallacy. It's non sequitur. I'm asking about the antecedents of x. You're bringing up delta x. X obviously must come first. You're talking about the gradient of pressure. I'm asking the antecedent relationship of pressure. Now, if you don't understand that, that doesn't
Container,
matter.
It means the container. You can't have gas pressure without a container. That's all it is. That's the necessary antecedent. You can't have pressure without a container.
What the fuck he just said?
Yeah, quantitative. You're counting. No, I'll say it. Listen, quantitative. You're counting or quantifying the characteristics of the pressure. I'm asking about the antecedent relationship of the pressure, which means the requirements. How is the pressure there? You are diverting to a red herring fallacy, bringing up the quantitative relationship of the pressure, skipping over the antecedent premise.
That makes
Anyone
perfect
know
sense. What's
what
wrong with
that
that?
means? Anyone, please.
What?
Anyone.
I don't understand it because you're dumb. You don't understand it.
If you don't understand it, that is certainly not my problem.
No, I didn't say I didn't understand it. I understood
Yes, you just
every word
did.
that came
You
out of
just
your
said
mouth.
what
I want
does
to
that
know
mean?
what it means.
Oh, so you don't
So you
understand
don't
it if you don't know what it means, dude.
Yo, WITSIT, you're banging with kids that are like half your IQ, bro.
Yeah, apparently.
What does it mean?
What is the container?
He said, I understand it, I just don't know what it means.
Container.
Container
What is the container?
Dude, you just said, I understand it, I just don't know what it means.
No, I said, no, see, you just strawmanned me. Hang on, everyone, stop. He just strawmanned me again. I said, I understood the words that came out of your mouth, I just don't know what it fucking means.
He said it again.
Put the words together, bro.
The antecedent is the air's weight. Period.
My question.
Dude, I'm almost crying over here. Y'all are awesome.
Come on, where's my question? What is it that holds the shit in there? Is it a dome? Is it a container? You avoided that, and Brummy came and lost you.
No, I
What
explained
is the container?
that's a speculative question and that I don't make definitive claims about reality when I cannot independently verify them empirically, because that was the issue that I just now escaped from via the indoctrination of heliocentrism. Falsification is independent of replacement. If you tell me Santa Claus is real and I say, no, he's not, and you don't have any evidence for him, and I falsify Santa's real, he doesn't remain real until I come up with a new figure to replace Santa Claus. Falsification is independent of replacement.
Santa.
All right. All right. That's enough.
Yeah, again, another destruction.
Right.
Who's next again?
Okay, look.
Falsification.
The weight of the air can fry the container.
How's
Just
gas
like a
pressure without a container?
These
Fucking hell.
Gaussian forces can be caused by the collisions of the molecules themselves, with the collisions with a container, or the air's actual weight.
No, it's not or. It's not or.
Statically on top of each other.
No, my friend, it's not or, Zanuck. They collide with each other and the container.
No,
both.
Or.
It's not or.
Or.
No, so you're saying if I put gas pressure in a container, that those gas molecules will never hit.
You
Okay,
don't need containment.
Zanuck, calm.
We're talking about. Hey, my turn. Please moderate.
No, Zanuck, you just want to talk for a full minute. Why can't we just have a conversation back and forth, please? I'm not listening to you talk for a minute. I'll leave.
Let's go ahead.
You're a gamma. You don't have any juice in the real world. So good try.
Right. Okay.
Respond to the conversation.
You first. Go ahead.
Okay. So do you understand my premise?
I do.
Do you not understand my premise?
I do understand your premise. You're saying the antecedent for gas pressure has to be a container.
Okay, now here you just said that they'll hit the gas molecules will collide with one another, or they'll hit the walls of a container. I'm saying that's not an or. If you fill up a container with gas, those molecules will obviously still collide with one another. They will just also collide with the walls of the container, correct, Zanuck?
They will, yes.
Okay, so they both take place. It isn't an or.
Only in your example. My example, they will not be hitting the container, only hitting themselves and the ground, and they'll have a velocity that's higher going down than going up.
Oh, what example is this? Wait, what demonstration is this exactly? Your example?
Put any gas in a container and weigh it.
In a container? I thought we just said that yours was without a container.
I'm giving you an example of how you can show that the air's velocity downward is greater than going up.
By using a container.
Remember, you just set the stage of letting people talk. You're fucking interrupting me.
You're contradicting
yourself.
yourself.
Let me finish this. WITSIT, I know you're on drugs or something. You're not able to listen.
That wasn't even me, and I'm not on drugs.
Stop. Just listen
Called
to me.
being intuitive.
Tell your girl holler at me, though.
Don't interrupt me for a second. The air, the gas, whatever you have in a container, the gas has a downward velocity greater than the upward velocity. That causes a force because anytime you have a change in momentum, that creates a force. That force on the container, on the bottom only, creates the force on the scale, which weighs it. Now, if you remove the container, that directional bias, which is a velocity that's greater going down, is still there with all gases.
Wait, greater than what?
I'm almost done. That
greater than what?
I'm almost done. That causes the hydrostatic forces of the air piling up on the weight of the gas, the shear, which creates the gas pressure.
You said the acceleration is greater than what?
Greater than what's above it.
What's above it?
Every air molecule that's below has a lesser and lesser force as you go up acting on it.
Then you're just saying that.
The change in momentum.
Yo, Zanik, how do you know that it's not heavier on the down vector? Because
it has a greater force on the down vector.
Yeah, how do you know it's not because it is contained?
Why would it need a container if it's heavy?
Well, because you're very example to even postulate your premise. Listen, Zanik, this is how we know it, Zanik, to even postulate. Zanik, you just talk forever, dude. The reason, Zanik, the reason that we know it.
You asked me a question and you jumped in.
But Zanik, the reason that we know it is to even postulate your premise, you had to invoke a container.
Every single demonstration involves a container.
How we know the inherent direction and the velocity magnitude of air molecules, of gas.
Hold on, Zanik, you're wrong. You use hydrostatic forces, which are only...
That was the agreement.
You're wrong.
The agreement was to let me finish my sentence.
Hydrostatic is water.
If you don't have a container,
Hydro is water.
So like sulfahexafluoride will stay in a fish tank and not escape because the weight of that
tank. Once again, you invoked a container.
No, there's no container. It's open.
A fish tank's not a container. This is the world that Zanik lives in.
Every single demonstration. Hold up, 1 second, guys. Every single demonstration,
going all directions.
Wait, 1 second, guys. Every single demonstration involves a container. If it's not like a closed container, it's an open top container. Every single demonstration you're talking about has walls. So are you saying that the Earth has walls?
No,
exactly.
Okay, so then you're literally bringing up something that's non-related.
Can I ask a question, guys? Hello.
Give me Zanik. He's out of control.
Yeah, look, can we bring in
Percent just dismantled you, Zanik.
No, you didn't.
Hello.
Yeah. Who's saying
said
hello?
Romy,
hold on.
Hydrostatic forces between water.
Analogy, you have to have
gases
walls
to
on the
water.
Earth.
Romy, who's saying
One at
hello?
a time, guys.
For goodness sake, who's saying hello?
That's Demar.
Alright, go.
Demar, let me say something. All right, Zanik, if you say these particles are going in all directions, right? If they go in all directions, right, what's making them go back the other way? If the natural thing they do is disperse in all directions.
And there is a force that creates
No, they're dispersing in all directions.
That force called their way. You asked me a question. What is with everybody here?
You wouldn't even let him finish his question, Zanik.
I'm talking. Shut your trap. Let me answer.
Zanik, why don't you let other people talk for a second?
He did. He asked me a question, WITSIT.
There you go again. You won't even let me talk.
He asked me a question. He asked me why.
I'm just saying he was about to finish his question, dude.
No, he wasn't. He was already done. And I started answering him, and then he started talking over me.
You're imploding.
Dimash, was you finished?
So the air has weight. That weight.
Oh, it's got the reification of gravity.
No, you can weigh the gases. You know.
No, when you define weight with G in it, it's a reification of gravity. Weight equals mass times gravity.
So I can't answer.
He did agree.
You answer yourself. Go ahead.
Weight equals mass times gravity. That requires a reification and connotation and application of gravity, which is actually a question.
Which can be
Begging the question fallacy, reification fallacy. Next.
Which can be verified by weighing the gas.
No, that's once again presupposing causation and interpretation of redefined gravity with W equals mg. Next.
Force is its own fallacy. If we measure it and observe it, it's not a fallacy.
Oh, actually, if you measure it, which is a way that you quantitatively describe something, if you presuppose the interpretation of what's going on that you're describing, that's a conflation and reification.
Okay,
Incorrect. Weight has a definition that is standardized. There is no scenario where we can't weigh something accurately. It's not.
No, you don't seem to
reifying
understand.
the
It's about the bro. It's about the interpretation of what weight is.
No one's
Yeah, there are
interpreting
some
it
things that
differently
can't be
but
weighed.
you because you
You're
don't know what
measuring a
weight
resistance.
You got it
Well,
backwards.
weight equals mass times gravity.
Then we use gravity.
No.
Okay, well,
why
mass
we
is a
weigh it.
concept. Gravity is also
No,
not
it's not a
true.
concept.
Right, it's times resistance. Volume of the object times resistance.
We create the force and mass, and we can weigh things.
It's a
then
resistance
we
on
can
a spring.
validate it by understanding how gravity causes this force.
Okay, Zanuck, real fast. We've heard you a million times. You say stupid shit over and over. Who's the other guy that just now jumped in? Would you like to?
I say stupid shit.
Yes.
We fly planes. We go to space, the moon, and
You've
think
never
you know
been to
things and
space,
you don't.
Zanuck.
So we're stupid, and you're smart, right?
You told me,
don't know
Zanuck, you've never been to space. Calm down.
Can we get there is
You're the idiot.
Can we get this to the
Zanuck.
I think
How do you weigh a
Moleman.
lightning bolt?
I think Moleman wants
The guy
to.
said we can
Dem,
weigh
hold on a
everything.
second,
How
Dem.
do you weigh a lightning bolt?
Dem, because there are other ballers that want to speak to WITSIT. So I think Moleman's trying to say something. If he's still got his point.
Quick question. Like when you want us to weigh air in air, I mean, can you? If water has weight, can you weigh water in water? How would you do that?
You're only measuring resistance, Mo, man.
No, this is what I'm saying is it's about how you interpret what weight is. Just like what he just said it too. When weight is there's an echo. The weight is defined as mg, right? And so mass, that's a concept. And actually, there's like 20 definitions not even agreed upon. But either way, general idea is agreed upon. Mass, and then gravity. So if you define weight as W equals mg, and then you apply that and you invoke weighing something, and use that as proof of G, that is, by definition, a begging the question fallacy and a reification fallacy.
If you want to
That's
go
like
by
objective.
definition, hold on. If you want to go by definition, weight is a vector force. By definition, weight is a force. Do you understand this? If you read in the physics books, you'll see that weight is a force.
Well,
can you explain why?
Well,
it's a force?
actually, that's assuming the axiomatic
No, it's not assuming anything.
Why do you have to interrupt me? You're scared.
Show that it causes an
You're
acceleration
scared.
in mass. Are you
Panic,
listening?
Zanuck scared.
Zanuck,
you haven't seen gas fall down?
Show.
Okay, so can I respond now?
Yeah, let me respond. Fuck.
My goodness, dude. Jeez Louise. Okay, so if you just reify gravity, now you said that it was a force down. That oh my gosh, that's assuming an axiomatic interpretation that for acceleration, that there must be a force. You lose.
Must be a force. Do you have any idea?
That's presupposing an axiomatic application that for there to be acceleration, there must be force.
Falsification is independent of replacement.
Yes. My goodness. Keep up.
The thing is, hold on. We can prove it, but can you? Your assertion that there's something.
Wait, how can you prove it?
No.
Hold on, let him say his point. Resistance. Because let the borders get
that. You understand this word.
Nice guy. Just make your point, and then we can get on to the next border.
I just want to understand the concept. Why you think it's an assertion? It's a fallacy.
Yeah, this is why. Because really, what happens, what we call weight, that's acceleration. And actually, acceleration, there's many factors at play. There's a variance of factors. So there's the density, the location, the coherency, the medium. Because like if you put a sumo wrestler in a pool, a 5-year-old can push them over, right? So the medium is obviously very important.
The resistance.
As is the coherency, the location, the vector. So there's numerous factors at play. And so if you just take into place M1, M2 in distance, well, it seems like you're not really taking it all into. And then if you say W equals mg, that's presupposing that acceleration has the axiomatic understanding of the force. It's assuming the force, it's assuming the interpretation of the force, and then it's reifying gravity into the interpretation of weights, and then you're postulating weight as evidence of gravity.
Micro machines,
so that's the third time I pointed it out.
in the middle of this, but is he like denying the acceleration or just the mass to mass?
No, the interpretation of the acceleration.
Well, you know, it sounds
that's
like
called
you're denying
presupposed causation.
right?
What? No, presupposed causation of why things fall. That's what I'm calling. That's what I'm disputing.
Yeah, but you're admitting that there's a constant phenomenon, right?
Well, things fall. So whenever something is more dense than the medium it's in, it's going to seek equilibrium. So when physical impedance is removed, so if there's a leaf on a tree and it falls off the tree, that tree was physically impeding it from seeking equilibrium. Right. But once it was removed from the tree, it's going to seek equilibrium. Well, it's more dense in the air, right? So it's going to go down.
But
it's going to flutter down. And then once it hits the ground, well, I'm almost done. Once it hits the ground, it's at rest because the object's always going to seek rest. Okay. So it's going to seek rest relative to the density relationship, and the directionality is relative to that density relationship.
You're
And we can
admitting
prove this
the
with experiment.
gravity variable. You're just talking about where it comes from, right?
No, I'm not admitting the gravity variable. Gravity claims to be a causation of the thing falling. I'm not disputing the effect. I'm not disputing the effect. I'm disputing gravity claim.
Yeah, but they say the same thing that you just said, except for of
How
a
is that
thing falling. They
semantics?
say seems to be a causation of mass to mass, bro.
Nice guy. Hold on. Let Don speak to WITSIT a second.
Okay, cool.
Sorry, say what you said again at the end.
So WITSIT, like, it seems like in here, man, this gets cloudy a lot. Okay, and I'm gonna be honest. Some of the weaker flat earthers want to not even know how to argue this. They'll allow you to try to challenge mass to mass as long as you admit the variable is consistent the same way that they see it's consistent, and then you could go, oh well, it's not from space-time bending, but it's from something else, and then they're gonna hit you with Cavendish and all this other shit. But when you say
flat earthers do any of that.
Relative density, they want to put it on level 2. They think you're talking about level 2, like after mass to mass.
Who the fuck are you talking about, Don? Which flat earther are you talking about?
You want to fucking disrespect gravity,
Wait,
bro.
okay, here, let me respond.
And I don't know if WITSIT's acting like you. I want to know if WITSIT's acting like you or like me.
There's no acting like anything. Here's what you need to try to keep up, though. So I'm not disputing the effect, the observable phenomena. That's what your dependent variable is. Things fall down. Downward acceleration.
At a certain rate, right? In a vacuum.
Well, 9.8 meters per second squared is an agreed upon average.
Right.
But in fact, it isn't consistent. Because if you drop different elements in a vacuum, they fall at different rates. Dun dun dun. If you increase altitude, what happens? What's the highest vacuum chamber we've tried this out in? So it's an agreed upon average of rate of fall. Literally, an agreed upon average. It's a generality because actually sometimes things go up.
Well, that's
my
what they
point
mean
is
when
that
they say
the
gravity.
effect
They
is
don't
down.
care why you're saying it happens. To be honest, they really don't.
No,
They
but
want
here's what
to
you
just-
don't understand. This is what you don't understand. Gravity has to be postulated for the Earth to be a ball.
Right.
Because listen, man, because you would be going in all directions around the ball. So something has to pull you down to keep you upright, omnidirectional.
Absolutely.
That's why gravity has to exist, and that's why it was postulated. But we don't need it to explain downward acceleration. Why? Because we can manipulate the density of a medium and validate empirically that manipulation of density medium will affect which direction the object goes. You're making a claim additional
They're
to
gonna
that
hit you with
that
left,
you
right,
cannot
dude.
you cannot
They're gonna hit
demonstrate.
you with left, right on that last statement you just made. They're gonna hit you with left, right, bro.
You're gonna hit me with left, right.
Yeah, and I get what you said. Look, the Earth can be a ball and still have mass to mass gravity or programmed downward fucking density gravity. It doesn't.
None of that
fucking
shit
matter.
exists, man.
I have a question for WITSIT.
Jesus. What's up?
I want to clarify. Yeah,
But he said it.
Mass
doesn't
attracting
exist when he said
mass,
there's
dude,
is
has
accepted
been
average.
outdated for over a century, dude. Catch up
But
to
you
your own
said
religion.
there's an accepted average. That's all that they care about.
I said it's an agreed upon average, but that it's just a generality because not even things always go down, like helium balloons.
Oh.
Yeah, so it's a
The helium balloon would
generality.
go
It's a
down in a
description
vacuum.
that was an agreed upon average.
You don't think helium
Exactly.
balloon
Do
go
you
down in a vacuum?
Your assertion that it is dependent upon the density when you just stated that in a vacuum there wouldn't be.
Wait. So whenever you make a vacuum chamber, what are you manipulating?
Yeah, vacuum is the zero dense.
Okay, so you manipulated the density
No,
of
I
the
agree.
medium.
I'm gonna agree with you here.
Right. So when
someone
this is the funny part though, because this is what we normally get, right? When I bring up that all you did was manipulate the density, and that's all we can verify that affects directionality, a fucking globe earth then says, "What about a vacuum chamber?" That's actually evidence for my point because now you've manipulated the density of the medium.
Dude, everything in a vacuum chamber falls at the same rate, so that's not. You're not.
Actually,
exactly
I
right
just
there.
told you that isn't true. You can drop different chemicals in there, and it doesn't drop at
And
the
I
same
don't
rate.
care if you want to show baby differences. Everything goes fucking down, regardless. I don't care if it's helium
balloons.
or fucking
What about
helium
helium balloons?
balloon. It fucking goes down.
In a vacuum chamber, everything falls.
Hey, I got a question for you. If I take a balloon, not a helium balloon, just a balloon, and then I rub it on my hoodie, and I stick it on the wall, what happens?
It'll stick to the wall.
Okay, so where's gravity then?
It's gonna fall down.
Where's gravity
You're
then?
introducing a different force, and you know
But here's my question. So you would agree that's much stronger than gravity, right?
No problem.
Okay, so the electrostatics is much stronger than gravity, and then as it loses
negative,
which everyone knows that, even your religious leaders and priests.
It is.
So
No,
you should
it is,
chill.
it is.
So No, it's well known electrostatics is significantly stronger than gravity, even in your own paradigm with your priests. So let me continue then. So if it has an electrostatic, if you increase the electrostatic, oh my God, just listen to the premise, man. If you increase the electrostatic charge of the balloon, holy shit. If you should probably hear my premise first, right?
Get a stronger force, but it's not always strong.
Oh, okay. So would you like to actually hear my premise? Okay, cool. So when you take the balloon and
you said all elements fall at the same speed in a vacuum.
I said they don't. I said they don't.
Which we don't accept.
Oh, you don't accept that?
All elements fall at the same rate.
Okay, well we are in the process of producing the proof of the documentation when we did it. So don't worry, man. It's on the way. So we can move on.
Can we get back to his premise about the electrostatic?
They don't want to hear my premise. They're scared of the premise.
Because you're a gamma.
So here's my premise. So when you take the balloon and then you take the balloon and I'm just going to keep talking
built on an incorrect.
When you take the balloon and you rub it on your hoodie, you increase the electrostatic charge. So once you increase the electrostatic charge, the balloon now has a higher electrostatic resonant frequency than it did prior to that and to the matter it's about to encounter. When you put the electrostatically charged balloon on the wall, it sticks to the wall. Now, as the electrostatic charge decreases, it will begin to fall.
The thing about
because the electrostatic charge decreases, but it never disappears. Y'all have to interrupt me.
Yeah, well, hold on a second. Well, WITSIT, as soon as you finish.
How would you know when I'm speaking if you're just interrupting?
You can. As soon as you finish, WITSIT, let Slacker go.
Okay, then wait, no, time out. Whoever said I'm just speaking rubbish, repeat my premise.
You're not speaking rubbish. Your premise is actually rubbish because it contradicts what you previously asserted that is dependent upon the density.
So you don't know what his premise was. You want to repeat it or
you're
just
an idiot.
Yeah, Slacker does. Slacker was about to respond to
what you
WITSIT.
said was electrostatics have a frequency. That is incorrect. The word static is applying to the fact that the charge is constant and unvarying.
So what happens when I increase it? Does it vary?
Got him.
It's kind of.
Guys!
Just increase
when I increase it, does it vary?
Scott,
God's sake.
All right. So anyway, someone said that I was contradicting my original.
God's sake,
y'all don't talk until I talk. It's so funny. Y'all are clowns.
You can do something about this. You don't talk when someone else is talking.
Yeah, well, the room was quiet, you little gamma pussy, and I started talking, and then someone interrupted me.
I wasn't talking to you!
Okay.
Shut up!
Okay, fair enough, sorry. Yeah, I was waiting till everyone was quiet, and then I started talking, then I get interrupted every time, man. It's kind of
alright, just chill.
I'm sorry, dude. I misunderstood you.
Just give me 10 seconds.
I'll try and do it concisely, dude. Okay. All I was trying to say, because someone said I'm contradicting myself. No, the density does choose the directionality, but things can play into it, such as electrostatics. We can demonstrate electrostatics, but we can't demonstrate gravity. That's my point. So whenever you're going to address some type of, whatever like you want to call it, some type of counter to the fact that density is the cause, you're going to have to demonstrate it, that it can't affect that additional to density. And only electrostatics can be demonstrated. Gravity cannot.
That's actually incorrect.
Anything you say when you make one point after the other rapid fire with no gaps in between them.
So no one can respond.
Gotcha. It's difficult with such a long response.
I mean,
so who wants to go first? Please, let's get some order in this.
I want to go first.
All right, go ahead.
Stay on top of it, all right? Stay on top.
Okay, sure thing. Okay, so I just want to understand. So you said gravity is a false assertion, it's a speculation, it's an interpretation to a phenomenon we see.
Yes.
Okay, we can move on this point. So I want to go back to the relative density. Now, density in itself, it's independent in its medium. It's basically the mass on the volume. Agreed or no?
Agreed.
Okay, agreed. So basically, we can get in an abstract, conceptions. We can get an object, and we can measure its density.
Yeah, for all intents and purposes, yeah, mass is a concept, but sure. Volume and yeah, sure.
Yeah, but then that when we propose the idea or the concept of gravity, and there's a phenomenon to support it, we know that gravity is a property of mass. Is that correct or not?
Well, that's just a presupposed reification within the concept that is mass. Yeah.
Okay. But this is in our worldview, in our belief that you say. We say that gravity is a property of the mass. Okay. Now then we say, when you say, for example, a boat is on the ocean, do you know why it's float?
Yeah, it's less dense than the water.
Okay. If it's less dense in the water, why it's not sinking? Again, it's less dense than the water.
Oh, God.
Because it's less dense than the water.
Nice guy. Come on.
No. There's a force. There's a force acting beneath it.
You're just saying
you're
that.
trying to infer gravity. You're trying to infer gravity.
You're just trying to say that. Yeah.
Hold on.
No, well, look, I don't have to entertain your religious worldview anyway. And I tried to, and no, you can't just reify gravity. I just answered your question. It's because it's less dense in the water.
No, this is not an answer, by the way.
Oh, God.
It is
What
an
the
answer.
answer? They say gravity. You're not going to keep stopping.
I don't agree there's some magical, mystical force there that has no evidence, bud. That's what your religious priest told you and indoctrinated you with. So can we move on?
That's what gets weird, dude. You kind of did agree that there was an agreed upon average.
Right. It's just a metrical representation of an effect, dude. That's a description of the effect. I don't dispute the effect, though. I don't dispute the effect. I don't dispute the effect.
Okay,
I dispute
but it
the claimed
sounded
cause.
like you did there at the end.
Well, no, my friend. I dispute the claimed causation of the effect of downward acceleration. I'm disputing the cause. No one is ever disputing the effect. Now, in addition, if I take a beach ball, bro, and I throw it up in the air, it's gonna fall down. If I take the same beach ball,
Jeremy, I guess I'm wrong.
Listen, real fast, guys. Listen, if I take a beach ball and I throw it in the air, it's gonna fall down. If I take the beach ball, swim to the bottom of a pool, and let it go, it's gonna go up. The only thing that we manipulated was the medium of the density, and the direction of that object changed relative to that medium density. So what we validated empirically with replication and demonstration, that's an experiment. We independently are verified by manipulating and varying the medium density, right? We actually empirically proved this, that will affect directionality. Okay? Now you claim something additional to this. You claim something additional to this, gravity, but do you have any empirical evidence of it?
Okay. For
Yes,
this point,
there is.
hold on. For this point, how does the water pressure? Hold on, I'm speaking. Why does the water pressure, once I bet you swim in a swimming pool, whenever you go down, you feel that the water pressure is increasing. Why is the water pressure increasing when you go down?
Because there's more water on top of it.
Oh my God!
And how do you produce this effect?
These arguments have been done, man.
How do you produce this effect? Hold on. Why do you feel it's more pressure?
Because there's a lot of water on top of it.
See, he didn't hear you admit. See, this is what I'm saying.
Yeah,
that's why you got to be clear. It sounded like you dismissed it.
No, he's not, Don.
Stop saying
that, You're trying to refer gravity. You're trying to push the gravity here. No one else is pushing gravity but you.
Oh my God.
He's saying there's molecules on. If you put two oranges on top of each other, there's more orange on top of the other one. You're inferring the weight by a gravitational pull. We're just saying there's another orange on top of an orange. That's it. When you've got a bottle of water,
guys, this is what's so crazy. I don't understand. Maybe this will help the conversation. This is what I understand. This is objective, and a lot of you will spiral, but this is actually objective. So when it comes to things falling down, just listen, man. When things fall down, we actually can demonstrate what will affect that. Literally, and I'll just explain to you how so. But when you they say that what
gravity,
oh my God, listen, no, it's not. When you manipulate the density of the medium, that has nothing to do with gravity. That's the density of the medium.
They will back it up and allow that definition to be that at that point. They'll accept that as long as you say that there's an average accepted. It doesn't matter why it's happening. They want to just call that accepted average gravity.
Well, that's a conflation of cause and effect, and that's about third grade level IQ. I don't have to worry about that. No, I'm not, dude. I'm the one making the distinction. That's my entire premise.
I'm like,
I don't want to make the distinction. They make where they say that everything falls in a vacuum at the same exact rate.
Yes.
Can you define vacuum? Like what atmospheric pressure is vacuum?
As low as you can get.
Good chance to say something, guys.
You got real quiet right then.
Hold up. Let me finish this vein. So as low as you can get, right?
No, fuck you. I've got questions for WITSIT. And you're changing it now. Back to your fucking vote, right? WITSIT's been just galloping on. We don't get to ask questions. So WITSIT,
stop
if it's
crying.
density, and I've got a boat sitting there, and I dip water into it, it sinks. It didn't change density. I filled it up with water. It displaced less than it weighed. It didn't change density. Thank you. Welcome to a globe Earth.
You said you just Freudian slipped.
Yeah, he said what?
Responding
Alright, now
to
I'm
percent.
saying, so
Okay, wait, can I finish my premise now? So it's really simple, right? Like when we see the effect of things falling, we actually can like manipulate something that will affect what direction things go, and we can validate that affects the effect. I mean, like we can empirically validate it, but gravity's an additional claim. And like I said, this ties in earlier. This is my entire premise, right? Gravity's an additional claim. So you have to ask yourself, well, why is that additional claim made whenever we've already verified the causality and we can't verify that? Because it has to exist if the Earth's a ball, because it keeps you upright omnidirectional around a sphere. That's the only reason that it's added as the additional claim.
Okay, I found a loophole. I found a hole because since
Really?
you agreed on the definition. Hold on. If you agreed on the definition that the density is mass on volume,
I
so
didn't.
can you
I
tell
didn't.
me- No, you did. You
No,
did.
I said,
Going back
well,
up
I
now.
said for intents and purposes, but mass is a concept.
No.
That is literally what
If
I
you don't
said.
have any other. Listen. It's
God.
mass on volume, whether you liked it or no.
No,
Tell
mass
me
is a concept.
which one of those? Hold on.
They're
Hold
trying
on.
everything they can
Which one
do
of those?
to attach gravity to this
which-
conversation. That's all I can
No,
see.
he's trying to straw
Let
man me. Is
him
what he's trying to
get
do.
it out, for God's sake.
Oh yeah, let him straw man me. Go.
But when they say gravity, it's just a rule of
I
down.
want to
Yeah,
continue.
that was definitely a reason for you to talk, Don. That's what I was saying. Go
Let him do
ahead.
straw man.
Okay, so can you tell me which one of those components, the mass and the volume, is responsible for a force?
Yeah, no, because mass is a concept I don't adhere to, and I said that my preface once again refutes your rebuttal. Next.
Hold on. Can you explain
My
that a little bit more?
preface refuted your rebuttal. If you can't keep up, that's irrelevant. Who's next?
No.
So
Hold
you're
on. Be
denying
respectful
mass.
and be
No, I
charitable.
said mass is a concept. I do. First of all, there's not even agreed upon definition. There's like 20 definitions for mass. That's a concept I don't adhere to. Now, earlier, to follow along with this
They're all the same.
conversation, to try to be like cool, which I know nothing about, I said for all intents and purposes, sure, but mass is just a concept. Now he's trying to straw man me saying that I agree with it and to explain his concept claim. It's so stupid, it's almost making my head hurt. Who's
Hold on.
next?
Hold on. Does it matter if we substitute mass with the amount of molecules or atom?
What is mass?
Is the amount of matter.
Oh, really?
Are
So
you
is there any
fine with
contention
this
with that definition? Or is that an agreed upon across the
I
board?
have
be honest, I can't follow,
citations that
man.
say it's not. I have citations that say it's not the amount of matter.
Yep,
that
me
Huey
too.
gave me
Numerous
personally.
ones. You don't even
Huey
know your
gave
own
me
religion,
those-
dude.
Well, let's
Huey
hear
gave me those
one of
personally.
these citations that says that then.
Okay.
Go ahead, what's it?
I have to go find it.
Can have different meanings in different contexts.
Yeah, I mean,
Hold
the
on.
point is.
Oh,
if
so
you
it's
agree-
a fluctuating definition, is what you're
Hold on.
saying.
Well,
Welcome to English.
yeah, well, that's
Oh,
what
yeah.
English is
That's
like.
what my whole point was, though, that it's a concept and it's all relative
Yeah.
to the subjective interpretation
Well,
of it. And there's
well,
over 20
well, you
definitions
can-
of it.
But
I
you
win.
can,
Go ahead.
but you can agree an interpretation in advance, right? If his definition is acceptable to you, you can just agree it.
Well, it's really not, because whenever you say the amount of matter, I don't need the amount of matter. I know that there is matter. You're claiming that there's some type of conceptual description of it known as mass that you then intertwine into your fairy tale of gravity.
It's a
I have nothing to
quantitative,
do
man.
with that.
It's
Right?
quantitative.
So you don't have any way of determining the amount of something. There's just something. You
Well,
have no way of determining how much there is.
Yeah, that's what I'm asking. How do y'all determine how much there is?
Well, we could weigh it, for instance.
Weigh it. So once again, that comes back full circle to, if you're going to prove mass with weighing it, then that means you have to reify weight equals mg.
We could also apply a force to it.
That's a very good point there, though.
Acceleration.
No, hold on. It's just you just brought a good point, and I don't want to whistle past that. So you need to explain if you're going to change the mass to the weight times mg, then what's that about then?
You can't just invoke weight
I haven't-
to
I
define
haven't
mass and
changed it.
prove mass.
Hold
It
on,
requires the
hold on.
reification of mass.
I haven't attempted to prove mass. I haven't attempted to change weight for mass. I haven't done any of those things. You asked me how I determined how much there was of something, and I said you could weigh it. I asked you if you'd got a way of determining how much there was of something.
It's your.
No, you just said, well, how do you do it?
That's not
I
what
told
happened,
you how I
dude.
do it.
I
told you.
That's exactly
what
what
are you
happened.
talking? No, that's not. Now talk, WITSIT. That's now shut the fuck up, WITSIT. I
Someone's
asked
mad.
you
No, that's shut up, WITSIT.
You're spiraling.
You're muted. I asked you how you determined how much there was of something. You just asked me how I did it. I gave you how I did it. So now I ask you again, how do you do it?
We just
how
said
do you determine how much of something there is?
Okay, what actually happened was I said, how do you determine the amount of mass? I said, how do you determine the amount of mass? And then whenever I asked that, you said, weight. And I said, oh, if you're going to use
that's
weight
a lie.
to explain
All of that
how
is
you...
a lie.
Is this being recorded?
No, it actually isn't, and I'm not going to lie. Like,
That is a lie. I did not mention the word weight. I never mentioned it. I said, why are you talking?
Because you're the line.
Why are you talking? I said,
you weigh it.
Oh, for fuck's sake. I said, yeah, you weigh it. I didn't say its weight or any of that. He just asked me for a way that I had of determining how much there was of something. And I said, you can weigh it. And I asked him what way he had of determining how much there was of something, since he rejects the idea of mass.
Exactly.
That's it. I just wanted an answer. I just wanted an answer to that question.
Why do you keep on strawmanning and lying about what happened? So what actually, is this being recorded? I hope this is being recorded. So what actually happened
Look,
was...
just answer the question. How do you tell how much, what way do you have of measuring how much there is of something?
And my response was, well, how do you measure how much mass there is?
And I answered that by weighing it. How do you do it?
And then I said, well, if you say by weighing it, you're invoking weight, which invokes... Y'all scared to hear me say it.
All right, my answer completely fails, WITSIT.
You're a gamma.
All right, you muted again. Right, my answer completely fails, WITSIT. What's your answer? Answer the fucking question. How do you determine how much there is of something? Do not speak, Bunny. Do not fucking speak!
Falsification is independent of replacement, you fucking little gamma. So, back to the point. You have to mute me.
You're muted again. You're muted again. You aren't... I just asked you how you determine how much there is of something. You responded by asking me how I determine how much there is of something. I gave you my reasoning. If you haven't got a replacement... just say, I have no way of determining how much there is of something. Is that true? That's what you seem to be admitting to.
Well, I just now said that falsification is independent of replacement. So no, I'm not claiming a replacement because you're making a positive claim as to what it is. So you have no way. You have to mute me.
Yes, so you have no way of determining how much there is of something, and you think that we should argue with you.
So once again, I'm pointing out you're touting as if you do have an accurate way and methodology.
I do. I've provided it.
But I explained the flaw with the methodology you invoked. Well, I would like to say it, but you're a little gamma that has to scream. So again, if you invoke weight, and when you apply weight, it requires the definition of it being mg, and you're using weight. If you're using weight,
it's only a force.
Tell me how you're going to count mass, but weight requires the reification of mass.
Does not.
That isn't sufficient.
Go ahead.
It does not. It does not require reification. All you do when you weigh something is you're putting it on a scale and measuring the force. We're calling that force its weight. That's all we're doing.
You're interpreting the weight as mass times gravity.
I'm dying to say something. Look, the fact of the matter is, right, he said it's very clear at the start, he doesn't subscribe to mass. That's your concept. Then you asked him to, hold on, no. Then you try to ask him to quantify something that he doesn't believe in. So he then said, "Well, don't interrupt me. Let me finish, please."
That's not true, though, Bromley. Wait, before you go any further. That's not true. I didn't ask him to quantify something he doesn't believe in. I asked him. Listen. I asked him how he determines how much there is of something. Yes, he does believe in something. Okay. He believes in objects, in matter, doesn't he? How does
Right.
he determine the quantity of something? He says he has
Falsification
no
is
way
independent
of
of replacement.
He says literally this. He has
Can
no
I just
way.
finish?
I
Can I
literally
just finish
said
my-
falsification is
my
independent
statement?
of replacement.
He
Can I
has
finish
no
my
way
statement
of
without being
determining the
interrupted?
quantity
Jem,
of something.
Jem, allow me to finish my statement, even if you don't agree with it. Just allow me to finish what I'm saying because
Okay,
there's a lot
but
that I
don't
need to get
tell
off
me
my
I
chest.
said something I didn't say.
All
I'm
right,
not
well then
asking
we
him
don't need to take over the
believe in
conversation and
maths.
talk over me for 10 minutes. I just need to finish off what I'm saying. Then he then asks you the question, how do you determine how much of mass is of something?
No, he
you then
didn't.
said you
That's
wait.
wrong as well.
There you go in again. You don't need
Because
to
that's
interrupt me in every
wrong.
stance.
He
Let
didn't
me
say
finish what I'm
maths.
saying.
Well,
allow
you're
me
wrong.
to finish.
Why?
Then,
because you're
well, I'm
wrong
not.
twice now. You said I asked him.
You said I weigh the object to see how much mass is in there.
No,
when
how do you
basically
weigh
what
No, I
I'm
didn't.
saying.
No, I didn't.
say
You
that.
didn't say that
It's
either.
recorded, Jem.
Yes,
It's
I
absolutely
know,
recorded.
and I
Stop
didn't say
talking
any of
while I'm
that.
talking. Just let me finish.
Well, okay, but it's all
Just let me
completely
finish.
wrong.
Just let me finish. You don't
Go
like
on then.
you
Go
hate
on
when people
then.
don't let you finish.
Go on then.
Thank you. You said how he asked you the question. How do you determine how much mass is something? You said I weigh something to determine how much of the mass of something. So that means that what you're doing is you're exchanging mass for weight. So you have to change the formula of what mass is.
Right, how do you weigh something?
I've
It's
got
recorded.
to stop you now. Brummy, I've got to stop you now. I didn't say any of that. You're just making it up.
Hey, Jim,
All
is
I asked him to
falsification
do-
independent of
All
replacement?
I asked him for was a way of determining how much, full stop, there is of something.
It's
Didn't mention mass, didn't mention weight.
Yeah, yeah.
Did
That's
not
what we were
mention
talking about.
either of those two
You
things.
said weight.
When he asked me how I did it, I said I weigh something.
You keep saying
That's
something to
it.
misrepresent the conversation, but its origin was the discussion of mass.
I said something.
And then you said the dude was saying mass is how we know the amount of matter. And then you said, well, if you don't use mass and you don't acknowledge it, then how do you know the amount? And I said, well, how do you know the amount of matter using mass? And then you said, we weigh it. And now you're misrepresenting it, saying, just count anything. You just can't count anything. And you screamed at the top of your lungs like that makes it somehow actually
Can I
valuable.
just give an example how to weigh
you gotta
something?
do is accelerate the mass.
Weighing something gives me a quantification. You're saying you don't have one.
But if your
you're literally
quantification
saying-
requires the reification of what's in question, it doesn't fucking matter.
You are literally saying that if I give you a bag of flour, you have no way of determining how much flour there is. That's absurd.
Well,
Beyond belief.
there's no issue with like a quantification of things, right? Like we have an agreed upon way that we count things. Like I don't have a problem with that.
All right, how
Well,
do you
we
know
do.
how
We
much flour there is
things.
in my bag?
We weigh things. But listen,
We weigh
the
it.
part that exactly. But the part that I've already said to you.
So, but when
it's
I
about
weigh
the
it, when I weigh it, that
interpretation
doesn't
of
work.
weight. You are afraid to hear me talk because you're a gamma.
Well,
It's
because
about
you've
the
just-
interpretation.
because you've just
You're
spent
afraid
five-
to hear the argument, Jim.
Because you've just spent 10 minutes. I don't.
Yeah,
because you've
that's
just
because
spent-
you know there's no argument. That's why you don't have to hear it.
Can I
that's
finish?
what gammas
Because you've
do.
just
You're
spent
scared
10
of the
minutes.
truth. You subversively
All right,
self-project
spit
your
out your
insecurities.
garbage. Go
You
on.
sit in. Yeah, okay. You sit in your echo chambers, subversively misrepresenting conversations. You think you're a secret king. You
Is
sit in
this
your
it? Have you
backhanded
got a point
compliments
to
and
make?
bullshit from behind your keyboard.
That's exactly
now,
what you have
now
done.
that I've
Don't
now
try
that I've
and actually
analytically broke
falsify
this
that
down
as
for
being
you,
somebody
I'm going to
else.
talk about
and
the
when
premise.
you actually start
See
saying
if you-
other people say stuff that they are not, that means that
I didn't
you
do that.
actually cede.
I
Yes,
didn't do
you
that.
did.
No, he did
multiple
that.
Times.
And this is being
You
recorded,
specifically
apparently.
said he said stuff he did.
Well, this is being recorded, so I'll just make a
Stop it,
compilation for
WITSIT.
you.
Come on.
Fine.
Yeah, okay,
It's
cool.
just you
Jim.
spent all this time.
Jim, you're a liar. You just said you didn't say. I didn't say mass, and it's a recorded that I did say it. So anyway,
All you have to do
anything
is
about what
accelerate
hey
you
the
Jim,
said.
mass.
is falsification
I said.
independent of replacement?
I said what I said, and
It's false.
And you've spent all this time telling me how bogus and crap my way of determining the quantity.
That's all
of
I have to say. That's all I have
Can
to
I
do. Because
finish?
falsification is independent of replacement.
You've spent all this time telling me how useless and crap my way of determining how much of something there is that is. And then when we get down to it, it turns out your way of determining how much there is of something is the same as mine.
Pardon me, Jim.
I mean,
I have
how
a question.
ridiculous. You've spent all this time going, falsification is independent of replacement, but you don't need a replacement because you do what I do. But what I do when I do it doesn't work, apparently, according to you. That's your argument. I can't weigh things, but you can weigh things, even though you don't believe in the concept of weight or the concept of mass.
Okay, you have to mute me and straw man. You're so funny.
Yes,
but
you don't shut the fuck up.
Well, this is your turn to shut the fuck up, you little gamma. So anyway, once again, I'm not making the claim, Jim. You idiot. You're making the claim. You're an idiot. You're actually an idiot. Conversation over. Catch up.
It's not really over, my friend.
This is getting boring.
Hang on. Again, I just asked you how you determine how much there is of something. And you said you weigh it. Is that true or not?
I said one way that we try to figure out how much there is of something, we weigh things and we have a construct of quantification we've agreed upon. My contention lies with...
Is it true that you said we weigh it? Just say yes or no. There's no quantification of the specification of the specificity of the reliability. I don't need any of that. Just say yes or fucking no, you twat.
You're such a pussy, dude. You literally can't hear my
Can you
argument
determine how much there is of something by weighing it with?
Do you have a girlfriend, dude? Have you ever had a girlfriend?
I have a question for Jim, please.
I've got 2 grandchildren.
Falsification is okay. Well, they hate you. Trust me. Falsification
Don't say
is independent.
falsification is independent of replacement again. We know that. The question I'm asking you is, can you determine how much there is of something by weighing it? It's a simple yes or no.
It's about how you interpret the data.
Wow.
So you say it's a simple yes or no because you're a simple-minded, low IQ moron.
Can you interpret the data in such a way as to determine how much there is of something?
Sure.
There we go. So what's the problem?
Now maybe you'll catch up. The contention is how you claim to interpret the data, and you use that interpretation as if it's evidence.
My interpretation of the data is I can use it to determine how much there is of something. That was all I ever claimed. That's all I claimed.
Any amount of matter.
I didn't mention gravity. I didn't mention weight. Didn't mention any of that. Didn't say it meant the Earth was real or round or any of that. Didn't say any of that bullshit you're trying to lay on me. None of it. Not a word of it.
You just said that we do it by weighing it, and then he just said, I never said weight.
Yes, that's correct. That is correct.
You're an idiot.
I said we do it by
You're
weighing
actually
it.
not smart, dude.
I said we do it by weighing it, and I never said weight. That's correct.
Okay, so when you weigh it, what is weighing it?
You are determining the weight.
You're determining the weight. Oh.
Wait. Hold on a minute. I did not say weight.
But you said weighing it.
Weighing it is also determining the mass, isn't it?
No, that's my whole entire argument. Maybe you're catching up.
Well,
I'm not mass. You can weigh it.
Again, WITSIT.
I'm not making. So obliterate on your own service.
I'm not making.
Jim Panda, please.
Please don't interrupt. I'm not making either of those determinations, am I? The only determination I'm making is this is a quantification of how much stuff there is. I made that very clear right from the start.
But you're claiming the accuracy of it.
I have not made any of the claims you've claimed I've made.
You're claiming the accuracy of it, Jim.
Of course.
Okay, well, that's what's in contention because that requires the interpretation of the data.
Okay, so again,
and that reifies weight as mass times gravity.
It doesn't require the interpretation of the data.
It literally does.
Well, so you can weigh something and
you can't tell the accuracy without the interpretation, Jim.
Listen to the question.
You lost.
Okay? The question is, you can weigh something, and according to you...
Jem was right.
Please, can I finish?
Rumi,
you can weigh something, and according to you, by weighing something, you can determine how much there is of something. But, listen, but I can weigh something, and I can't determine how much there is of something. That's what you're arguing now.
No. What I'm saying is you can't tout the accuracy of interpreting what you're quote-unquote weighing, right? You're touting the accuracy of it. You just admitted that.
You're saying we can't weigh things accurately. Is that what you're saying? I can't weigh things accurately.
No. I'm saying the accuracy of the interpretation is what's in contention, Jim, and it's been going on for 15 minutes.
Again, for the 8th time. For the
No, the interpretation is W equals mg.
No.
That's not what weight is.
For the ninth time, that is not my interpretation. All I'm interpreting is how much there is
of something.
Something.
Okay,
No,
Jem's right. Let me say something. Jem was right.
He's not right. This conversation started by talking about mass.
Witchy, let me tell you what happened. It was you. We were talking about mass, and he changed the word from mass to something. So it was a kind of a slight. We all meant mass.
I called it out already, and I already called that out though. So I'm not gonna play his game. I called it out 10 minutes ago that you started saying something to straw man the conversation.
You're straw manning. You're straw manning because
it started off with mass, Jim.
Because all I'm saying is that if I weigh something, I'll get a number, and if I weigh a different thing, I'll get a different number. And
I disputed mass as a concept I don't agree with, and that's what started the conversation.
Let me finish.
Because you're lying.
And that's all I get is a number, and that number I can use to determine the quantity of
mass.
If I hang on, if I take that bag of flour and I weigh it, and I empty half of it into another bag, I'll have half as much on my scales. It will give me a number that is half of the first number when I weighed it. That's why it's useful to me. That way, I can determine how much there is of something. In this case, the amount of flour there is. I did not relate it back to gravity or anything like that. Because I'm not trying to establish...
But my friend, I've already...
Listen, still talking. I'm not trying to establish that gravity's a thing. I'm trying to establish that you have no way of determining how much there is of something.
No.
And the only way... And that's how you started. You've
Can I respond now?
Nearly there. Now it turns out you do have a way of determining how much there is of something. It's the way that I use. Only when I use it, it doesn't work.
No,
but when you use it, it does.
Well, I already explained that the numbers that we've all agreed upon, the quantitative construct that we've agreed upon. When we weigh things and then a number pops up on the scale, the scale was made based upon the application of the numbers we agreed upon. I don't disagree with mathematical constructs being useful for replication and quantitative purposes. When you put it on the scale, we agreed upon numbers. It gives us numbers. I am disputing the interpretation of the numbers, which was the origin of this conversation, because I said mass was a concept. I disputed mass. You then said, it's the amount of matter. You don't have the way, if you don't accept mass, you don't have the way to know the amount of something. And I said, how do you know the amount of mass? Then you said by weighing it. Now you want to exclude mass from the conversation, even though it sparked the entire conversation. No. It's the crux of the entire premise.
You said you didn't accept mass. So there's no point in me asking you how do you determine how much mass there is of something, because you don't accept it.
No,
for me, how much mass there is of something equates to how much there is of something. It's the same thing for me.
Wait, is weight the same thing as mass, Jim?
So I know you believe in something.
Is weight the same thing as mass?
No.
Why are you even asking that? You already established that it wasn't.
Exactly. That's a win.
Exactly. Thank you. You lost again.
I'll
give it up to the audience and let them keep up.
Let me add one thing. We know, Romy.
No. He just admitted it. That's it.
Yeah, Romy.
You just have to have faith in the intelligent audience. These people have bias.
Well, Zanik, not yet, because Cowbows wants to say something. He's been trying for a while now.
It's very key. You've missed it for about 10 minutes.
Zanik, because you're going to go on. Let Cowbows get his question out.
Well, you guys are going one step further than you need to.
Next.
Cowbows, go for it.
You guys gonna move over this
My
thing.
question
this
really
is a very
was
crucial thing, by the way.
Can we hear from Cowbows, guys? Cowboys, go.
My question was actually towards Jim Panda, and I was just wondering, how ironic do you think it is that he wants to try and dispute the base of weight that he actually uses?
Irrelevant comment.
How hilarious is it that you just, as a gamma, had to talk to me by talking to him?
I know, that's the after show, Cowbows, not now.
You had to talk to me by talking to him. Wow.
Exactly.
I'm right here, bruh.
I've got to admit, Jim Panda was right. He did say something, but I do think it was kind of...
I called that out as soon as he did it.
Yeah,
Next.
I didn't notice.
This is being recorded.
Okay, you want me to talk to you?
I told you what I was saying. I told you why I used the term something, because you don't accept the term mass.
Well, that was what we were talking about.
We were talking about mass,
I know it was.
Because
I know, exactly.
you were trying to argue the efficacy of mass, bruh.
No, I was
you dumbass.
Not. I was
That's
not
what the whole conversation was.
I was
because if you don't argue that, then we
to argue.
Jim, if you don't argue that, then we don't disagree on anything. Because I've already acknowledged the numerical system that we use. It is not what's in contention.
Well,
dumbass.
Hold on.
Please stop looping the stupid shit.
Hold on. You've acknowledged the whatever you called it, the numerical system. You've acknowledged it's useful for you, but you've denied it's useful for me.
No, it's useful for you.
Yes.
It's useful for you as well with the exact same limitation that you're scared to hear it. It's useful for you as well with the same exact limitation it's useful for you as well with the same limitation that I have, which is just that it's a metrical representation derivative of the mathematical construct we agreed on as humans. I am contending the interpretation as it applies to your magical fairy tale model. Stop trying to duck off from the conversation.
What's the assumance? That's not even a word.
I never said that.
You just said a mathematical interpretation of the numerical assumance.
I've never said that.
WITSIT, can I ask you a quick question?
I'm going to have to wind it back.
Yeah, you're going to have to. You need to do that with all of this.
WITSIT, what do you determine as being something? Like you have been arguing since I've been in here.
Basically means mass again.
I already acknowledged that there was something. You're an idiot.
Enough to wait, and now I'm getting interrupted.
I acknowledge matter, bro. The way that I don't know if you were here for the whole conversation. Don't ask me questions about the conversation if you don't even know what it was, bro. So I acknowledge there was matter.
WITSIT, you're not hearing my question. He interrupted, so you didn't hear it. So the question is, what do you consider to be matter? Because there's different substances.
Material.
The thing that just hear me out. Can I get 30 seconds, guys?
Yeah, go ahead, man.
I haven't been here for a month, so chill.
Whatever. My answer is material, but go ahead.
No, it's not. So what happens is
that's not my answer.
Is that you've been arguing with Jims about the concept of mass and the concept of matter, matter being abstract almost.
Nope, never said that.
Yeah, you didn't say it, but that's how your
I never said matter was abstract.
I didn't say that
matter exists. I agree with matter. It's material.
Finish my comment.
Well, stop fucking strawmanning
the whole argument.
Just talk about how you accelerate the mass.
Okay, so now I got that. So here's the thing. So WITSIT, you haven't been clear on what you define mass as being, even if you want to call it conceptual.
I don't define it as anything. I don't claim it.
That's the game.
I don't claim it.
It doesn't matter if you claim it. You can't deny it because you don't claim it.
You're saying I have to. You're saying I have to explain and make a claim I'm not making.
If you're trying to deny his claim, no,
he has to support his claim.
He already did multiple times.
To support mass.
Because you have to have a reference point.
Okay, can
I never made a claim of mass at any point.
Well, that's where the conversation started at, Jim. So how about you shut up then? If you're not willing to dispute and argue your model, then just stop talking, Jim.
But you're the one that's trying to dispute his.
I wasn't trying to argue my model.
But that's what we were talking about. You jumped in.
Okay, can I answer the question?
Hang on, just let me get this out. That was the straw man that you repeatedly tried to lay on me throughout that conversation.
That's very true.
At no point did I do that. As I said at the end, I was not trying to establish the existence of gravity, even though you desperately wanted me to be.
Right.
I was trying to establish that you had no way of determining how much there was of something.
So you jumped into gravity,
and after I'd established that, and you realized how stupid it was, you gave it up and then agreed with me that we could determine it using my method. Thank you.
So then
even though according to you, hang on, even though according to you, I can't determine it using my method.
Dude, stop fucking muting me in my... Hey, how about this little gamma from the sideline? Shut the fuck up. That's a good idea. Now I'm going to respond to the other gamma that mutes me and then monologues and strawmans me. So this is what actually happened, dude. So we were discussing mass. You jumped in. I'm not talking to you.
I don't care.
So Jim just had my name in his mouth. I'm going to respond.
No, I'm not going to let you respond. You can
because you don't want me to expose that you're a liar, Jim.
Because you've already said it. You've already
You jumped in.
You've already misquoted what I said multiple times. I'm not going to just let you keep doing it. Answer flat.
Stop. Okay, listen, I'm just going to say this. What happened, Jim, bro, for real? Be real. You jumped in, and to be fair, you changed the subject. We were talking about mass. Now, you're saying you changed the subject and that I just wanted to keep on that subject. Well, yeah, because you jumped in and diverted from the subject. And now you're saying that I'm strawmanning you because I wanted to hold to the original subject.
Well, again, that would still be a straw man, even if
no, that'd be a red herring fallacy obfuscation from you.
But my point was, at that point in the argument, you were decrying all the methods we have to determine. You were saying there's no such thing as mass.
Straw man.
And listen, or you were saying you don't accept mass, our concept of mass.
Okay.
So I was trying to get to the bottom of that, because if you don't have a concept of mass, it seems to me you don't have a concept of you don't have a way of quantifying how much there is of something. So that's why I was asking you about that. I was challenging that idea that you don't accept mass. So right. I was trying to get to the bottom of what was your replacement for that.
Yeah, but see, that's what I'm saying, bro. That was my point. You were trying to get to the bottom of what's my replacement of mass, and then as I was trying to explain it relative to the discussion of mass, you kept saying you weren't talking about mass. So and everyone heard it. What I'm saying is, I'm disputing the conceptual application of mass. I am disputing the conceptual application of mass. That is a concept, dude. And you're asking how do I replace it? And that's why I said falsification is independent of replacement. If you put something on a...
Jim, I have one thing to say.
Dude, all I'm saying is I don't have to replace it. You're making this claim, and your whole model depends on it being true. Period.
Jim, would you mind responding to WITSIT right now?
Yeah,
trying to get a word in edgewise for an hour.
Yeah.
Listen, WITSIT.
We have buried this argument now.
WITSIT. We can determine mass by a couple different methods. We can have a known mass and put it on a balance scale. Kosho brought that up. Or we can accelerate it with a known force. Any mass we can accelerate and see the acceleration and know what its mass is. Now, that can be correlated to this force that we've just measured by how much it accelerated and put it on a scale. And that scale is a spring scale, measures the force also. That is its weight. And Jim was only talking about the weight. It doesn't matter what its mass is. It's relative to what that force is on the scale.
Weight equals mg.
It's a force down.
Weight equals
down.
mg.
We don't need to have mg
but
right
that's
here.
How you're defining it.
Yes. So when we went, hold on. Listen.
Yeah,
so we got the mass. We just measured the mass. You agree? We measured the mass. We accelerated
the concept of mass is matter. Mass, i.e., matter.
Listen. We put 10 newtons on a 1 kilogram mass. What do you think it accelerates? What do you think it accelerates at?
I don't care.
Do you know?
No.
It's a simple freshman.
I just said question. No.
You don't know? Do you agree with F equals ma or A equals F over m? Does that make sense to you?
Dude, holy shit, Zanuck.
Yes or no?
Do I agree with F equals ma? Well, no, because that's again using mass, isn't it?
It is.
Okay, I dispute the conceptual application of mass, Zanuck.
We can show the range crayons. Every single, without exception, never been accepted.
Mass is i.e. matter. The only reason mass is a thing is to build the constructs of heliocentrism.
No, that's not true.
No, I don't care what you think about it.
So you missed everything. Mass is any amount of matter, and usually measured in kilos. Now, the kilo is the amount of mass something has. If we take a 1 kilogram block, and we apply a 10 Newton force to it, it will accelerate, I'll give you the answer, 10 meters per second squared. So isn't it interesting that if we put it on a scale that has a spring on it, and we know the force of that spring, it measures the same 10 Newtons. Isn't that interesting?
Not really. That's expected.
It doesn't measure that everywhere on the Earth. Some places less, some places more.
Like where?
Mount Everest,
well, with specificity.
But the point is, now that's the gravitational thing you're objecting to. Let me finish. That's the gravitational thing you're objecting to. But the bottom line is the weight is in newtons. It's a force, and it shows what it will accelerate any mass you want to throw.
So what you're doing is you're acknowledging the effect that I don't dispute, and then you immediately say that if I acknowledge, you immediately say that if I acknowledge the effect, that means your claimed cause of it must be true.
No,
that's
I
so
don't care about
dumb. Next,
cause. We don't know what cause.
You are claiming the interpretations,
Whatever. It doesn't matter. The
it
point
does
is,
matter.
You're wrong.
That's your claim, Zanuck.
Jim is right. Jim is absolutely right. He gave you a weight, a a deflection of a spring, which
got a
gives
question
a
for you,
force.
Xanax.
What is weight?
Force. Now that force,
I'm gonna ask
weight
you.
is force.
Wait,
Has
Xanax,
nothing with
what
gravity.
is weight
Has
defined
nothing to do with
as?
gravity. Has nothing to do with gravity right now. All we
What's
know
the
is
equation for weight,
down.
Xanax?
We know what the equation of weight is.
What is it?
Weight equals mg.
What does G stand for?
Gravitational acceleration.
What does M stand for?
Mass. in
So
kilos.
if you are going to invoke weight with that definition, you're reifying mass and gravity.
Xanax, can
You lose.
One
Xanax,
example.
I don't know why it's so
weight
hard
is
to understand.
force.
Xanax, we
You
agree
can
on this.
exchange
It's just
force.
a system
I'm not going
that
in
we
circles.
all
You
use.
lose.
I got a question,
exchange
Xanax.
weight.
An
Are you
equally
listening to me?
valid.
Are you listening to me?
This is a simple question,
weight
Xanax.
is the
Stop
force of
talking.
an object that's sitting on the
Xanax, for
ground.
convenience, it's just that we use that system. That's
You
just
can,
the way
yeah, you can
system
exactly.
we use.
You
Doesn't
can
mean that
exchange
the
weight.
variables are
Let
actually
me
true to
finish.
life. True to
Let
form.
me finish, please. You can exchange weight with force. All we're measuring is a force. There's no discerning between different forces. A force is a force. Of
You're
course.
measuring
It
acceleration,
doesn't matter.
assuming a force.
All we know is that we put this thing.
All right, Xanax.
No,
it's
you're
time to,
measuring acceleration, assuming a force, Xanax.
What equals a force,
Okay.
Xanax?
Yeah, let's
Xanax,
share the
Xanax.
baller.
Hold on,
There's
I got it
like
real quick.
40
Hold on, man.
baller
I've been waiting a long time. Xanax, force times you know, what is that? The force, what is that? Is that mass times acceleration or energy equals mass? So tell us the weight of a lightning bolt.
Force times acceleration.
So what's the weight of a
What are you
lightning
trying
bolt?
to say?
It's energy and mass,
What are you
right?
trying to
What's
say?
the
It's
weight of
energy
a
times
lightning
what?
bolt? Tell
What
me
is
the
it?
weight of a fucking lightning bolt.
Weight of a lightning bolt. See, this is where you go with you, D-Mock. Complete, utter gibberish.
Okay, so how about the fact that if you invoke weight, it requires the reification of mass and gravity?
No, it doesn't. Mass
Energy
can be
equals mass
determined
times
by
acceleration,
a
right?
known
Wait.
Accelerating.
This will conclude. Xanax, you have to respond, okay, dude? You're measuring acceleration, assuming a force. Respond specifically.
Nope. Not assuming anything. A measured
It
force.
doesn't work, dude.
A measured force.
No. You're measuring acceleration.
No. A measure. I have a 10 Newton source of force.
No,
I know this
you're measuring
spring has
acceleration.
a 10 Newton. Listen, I know this spring has a 10 Newton per inch force that I know it has. And I
Okay.
put that force on an object and I measure its acceleration. Nothing is
Oh, you just said measure its acceleration.
Change of distance with
The
respect
fact
to
is, you
time.
have to measure
I said that you're measuring the acceleration, assuming a force, and you just
measure the
conceded.
acceleration.
With
Then
it,
we
you
watch
just
it. We
conceded.
time it.
Back to
Time it.
measured
You
force.
just conceded. You don't even realize it.
No,
Xanax,
we
chill.
measure the acceleration.
That's what
measure
I
it.
said.
No, you're right. We measure it.
I know I'm
exactly.
right.
Why are you laughing?
Because I said you're just measuring the acceleration, assuming a force. That's what I said.
We know of force.
The force, and that's not what he said.
Acceleration.
Right, calm down. You said I'm measuring the force. Listen, you said I'm measuring the force. I
No, I
corrected you.
didn't say
Said
measure
you're
the force.
measuring.
I said measure. I said measure
Why are
the
you screaming?
acceleration.
No.
I didn't have to
Listen.
measure the force.
Listen,
I said
Xanax.
known for. You gotta
Xanax,
listen. You're
Yeah,
talking.
this is being recorded. But
Measure the acceleration.
But
not
before
the
you said
force.
that,
The
you
force is
originally
known.
said
if he
Xanax.
misspoke? Why do you care?
Okay, but I'm just trying to explain something.
The force
Xanax
is
lying.
known. The force is 10 newtons.
No,
I've said it
Xanax has to
before.
concede here, unless
10
y'all are just all
newtons.
dishonest.
I said I was very detailed. I said you got a spring that is
And did
10
everyone
newtons
hear
per
him say
inch.
that you measure force?
No, you have 10 newtons.
Okay,
of
this
a
other guy heard him.
spring,
Did anyone else
1
hear
inch.
him?
No, I didn't
he's
say
just a
that.
liar. He's
no,
just a
I
liar.
didn't. Play it back.
Okay,
Go play
so
it back.
now Xanax,
Go
can I
play it
explain
back.
for 20 seconds? Can you not interrupt me? And can I explain what I think
No,
happened?
because
And you can
I'll
tell me
say it again because you got it wrong. We take a no. I said it again.
Oh my gosh, bro!
10
I'm
newtons.
saying.
Every 1 inch deflection of a spring. I said that very clearly. That 10 newtons acts on the mass, and we measure the acceleration. That determines the mass.
Okay.
What is wrong with you?
Now, can I talk, please?
Yes.
Now, what? Okay, thank you, man. So what happened was you were talking about the scale.
Oh man, who cares?
And then you said, dude, stop interrupting me.
No, man, this is
So he said, y'all don't want to hear me because you know I'm right.
Let WITSIT finish. Let WITSIT finish, please. Go ahead.
We don't want to hear him,
Alright,
Jim.
so
We don't wanna hear him at all.
Xanax said that he measures the force. I jumped in and corrected him. Said, well, you're measuring
No,
the
I
acceleration.
said I measured the acceleration.
See? I jumped in and said, well, your measure actually, I jumped in and said, well, actually.
Say measure the force. Did anybody hear that?
If you said it,
1 inch deflection on a spring.
I just can't even explain it.
We
Y'all
measure the acceleration on mass.
If you said it, then you
calm down.
misspoke. Okay.
Oh yeah, fair enough. I don't care. I'm just explaining what actually happened. I'm just telling the truth.
I was very detailed talking about the spring.
Okay, Zenik, if you'll let me talk, I'll accept that you might have misspoke and move on, but you won't even.
Did everyone hear me?
You won't even let me talk, Zenik. You're freaking out, dude.
That is a given value. Stop fucking talking. WITSIT, you're such an idiot.
Zenik, you won't even let me respond.
Can we get to the A of F equals MA?
No, wait, dude. Why would you aid it?
Because he wants to go back and go over what someone said.
No, I just want to recap the premise. I'm willing to move past it.
Known force.
Even Jim was like, just let him say something, and y'all still won't.
Go ahead, WITSIT. Go ahead.
WITSIT.
Thank you.
Please,
okay, so now the only reason I jumped back in was he said that we're measuring the force, and he might have misspoke, and that's fair enough. It happens. I do it. Everyone does it. We're all humans. All I'm saying is that's why I jumped in the conversation. And I said, well, actually, you're measuring acceleration, assuming a force. And then he had contention with that. And then we debated for about 30 seconds about it. And then he ended up saying that you're measuring acceleration. I said, exactly, that was my whole point. Now that's what actually happened. So we can just we can fast forward past it. My point is still the same. You're measuring acceleration, assuming a force.
You want to talk over it.
Hold on.
Talk over what? I was finishing. You're trying to talk over me.
Hello, please.
You don't seem to have a definition of
There's a way.
force.
No one in the room can respond. Y'all lose. Haha.
Please.
You're measuring acceleration, assuming a force.
Yes, that's what
Well, the assumption is in contention.
Hold on. I don't want to speak over someone. Okay, so.
The assumption's in contention. If you're not responding to that, no one cares.
Okay, hold on. I want to say something. Hello.
No, you want to change the subject.
God.
He wants to change the subject. Can anyone respond to the subject?
That way. I was going to say, guys, do you want to just we'll do Chemo's 45-second thing where everyone gets 45 seconds if you want.
Oh, it's getting like that, yeah.
That wasn't Chemo's idea.
Can we change it to like 20 seconds?
Oh, we can do a 30-second if you want.
Let's do 30 seconds. We'll split the difference.
Yeah.
Okay.
I can just take 5 seconds to clear up what you just said, Mr. Zanuck, about what Zanuck was saying. I'm sorry, Mr. WITSIT, what you were saying, but what Zanuck was saying. If you have a phone on the table or an accelerometer of some sort, the reason why you can infer that there's a force acting on it is even though you're measuring its acceleration, you're not measuring any actual acceleration. You're using the sensor to make those measurements because there's a force acting on it. But the phone itself is not going to be changing direction or
30 seconds,
or velocity or anything.
Okay.
Okay,
I want to add my point now.
All right, 30 seconds. 30 seconds, go.
Well, let WITSIT respond and then add your point.
All right, 30 seconds, WITSIT.
We've got to get back to WITSIT each time.
I'm not. The discussion was like a scale. You play something on the scale, and then the spring, and you're measuring the acceleration against the spring, and you're assuming the force, the axiom that for the acceleration there must be a force. And the contention is that axiom, that claimed cause. And that's it. And that's my response.
James, could you cue me in, please?
Right.
I'll out.
Can I cue in as well?
Yeah, go ahead. Who is it? Nice
guy. 30 seconds, Nice guy. Go ahead.
And then Flatten, you're next.
Okay.
Well, after WITSIT.
I'll start where you start talking.
Okay, I found a pretty nice idea, okay, how we can resolve this issue about mass, acceleration, and force and weight, all of them together. Let's go to the fundamental of how Newton's law established his law, how did he observe things in nature, and how he saw regularities, and how he established acceleration, change of speed, the amount of change of distance, or the displacement, you guys call it, on a period of time. Now, the reason you are always stubborn about accepting acceleration because in order for something to be moved or to be stopped, okay, you need to put force in it.
30 seconds.
Okay, well, I don't. You just strawman me, dude. I'm stubborn about accepting acceleration. I've made it very clear I don't dispute acceleration. I am contending your claimed causation and axiom of the acceleration.
That's 10 seconds.
A flat instruction. Can I go?
In at some point, Jim.
Can I go ahead, guys?
Yeah, go ahead.
Flathead, 30 seconds. Take it away.
All right. Let me wait for this to get to O. Okay. Okay. So, WITSIT, you're not able to define what a force is based upon what you have said so far. And because of that, you're creating a lot of confusion. The idea that acceleration can be caused by something other than a force is absurd. And the fact that you have measuring devices that consistently and reliably measure acceleration and can show you should not be something you ignore.
Well, once again, no one disputes the acceleration, so that didn't take long. So I'm disputing your claimed causation, dude. Jesus.
I just gave you the example.
I mean, it's not hard, guys.
Yeah, you told me about a phone and the
interpretation. How are you making that measurement when you're not measuring the acceleration?
What's causing
you're
the
measuring the
acceleration,
but you're not measuring the literal acceleration. You're not measuring the movement over.
Which I reaffirm. Yep.
Okay, I guess to make a full answer, because I now remember what you said at first. You said that since because of what I just said, I can't define force, and I'm creating confusion. That was your preface. Well, actually, let me speak for myself. Let me speak for myself. I can define force. I can define it.
Not what I.
Do you want me to define it?
You're trying to separate force from acceleration. In order for there to be an acceleration, there has to be a force.
Well, that's a positive claim, yeah. And
it's a positive claim. It's how we define the whole concept.
Right, but you're right. I'm contending that axiomatic claim. So
with what?
What do you mean with
what?
what?
If he's saying acceleration is cool, he's just saying the acceleration could come from another source. It appears
that would be another force.
Well, here's what I'm saying. Okay, look, I'll give you an example. Right, if there's a tree, I said this earlier. If there's a little bitty leaf on a tree, because I'm looking at a tree right now, that's why I always say it, because I'm outside. If this leaf falls, we're going to watch it fall to the ground. Now, what caused it falling from the ground is it was detached from that tree, which was causing physical impedance of it doing what it already wanted to do, which was seek equilibrium until it finds rest.
Because there's a
because it's more
law,
dense
right?
than sure. Density
that's what they're
is going to
gravity, bro.
pressure mediation.
That's what they're calling
Pressure
gravity
mediation always takes place.
Universal
but
law
okay,
is what
but
they're
that's what
calling
I'm
gravity.
contending.
The
It's called pressure.
accelerations is what they're calling gravity.
Yeah, but my friend, I accept pressure mediation, but I do not accept the claimed causation of gravity.
Okay,
what do
so
you
now
define this
instead of
pressure
you not
mediation
accepting
as?
Yeah, pressure
you're just
mediates
not accepting
equilibrium.
The claims causation. It's becoming more clear.
What do you define it as?
Exactly.
Pressure mediation. Yeah, pressure mediates or seeks equilibrium, and the density of the object relative to the density of the medium is going to be why that happens the way it does. We can prove it. We can prove it by constantly replicating it over and over in any type of controlled environment you would like.
Force has to do with a direction.
No, that I gotta agree with.
No, vector is momentum and direction.
Yeah, yes,
okay.
Sure is. And therein lies the problem because the leaf is going in a direction. There's a vector.
Well, you're
yes, you're done.
And
you're claiming the axiom for there to be acceleration. It requires force. What I'm saying is the removal. You're afraid to let me talk. The removal of physical impedance will result in pressure mediation. There is no force present.
But it doesn't determine the direction unless you have a force present.
There is no magical force called gravity causing pressure mediation. The physical impedance was removed.
Gotcha.
No, that's a negative claim. I said it didn't exist.
So
if I say gravity doesn't exist, that's a negative claim, you clown.
But now we're back to there's no force.
So WITSIT is starting from a different philosophical basis. It appears, based off of what he's saying, he is implying that reality is a continuum and something will always flow into that vacated space.
Right, but a law is a force. It doesn't matter what they fucking...
Depending on where the empty space occurs. If it occurs up, something will flow up to fill that space. If it occurs down, something will flow down to fill that space. It is continuum mechanics with something to flow into that space as opposed to forces pulling stuff in a preferred direction. It's a slightly different philosophy.
Explain why.
Okay, now you have 30 seconds to respond.
Why is the density medium below the tree instead of above it? Why is there a density medium in a particular direction? Why does the increase in density go as you go down? The direction is all that matters in this debate.
Well, no, the claimed causation of the directionality is what matters.
I didn't claim any causation.
Yes, you are. You say it's gravity.
No, I didn't. I never mentioned gravity.
Okay, well then you have no place in this conversation.
Never mentioned gravity.
Then you have literally no place in this conversation.
No, that's a catch-22. You're saying that I made
Yeah, because you're an idiot and you don't realize you need gravity for your model.
By stating gravity.
Welcome to Flat Earth.
I show you that I didn't state gravity, and then you say then you.
Then what's your premise? Then what's your premise?
No. Then
what's your premise?
Is that your premise is that the cause of things going downward is not caused by a force.
So that means you're claiming it is caused by a force, right?
How can a
stop it.
Hang on, everyone.
Seriously.
Hang on, let Flattened respond.
Anything that causes something to accelerate, by definition, is a force.
So you're claiming that there's a force that causes downward acceleration, right?
We see it all the time, don't we?
Okay, well, we see downward acceleration, the effect. You're claiming the cause being a force.
Well, geez, what else would cause a downward
So you're making a positive claim that there's a force.
Appeal to incredulity.
I already explained it. The removal of physical impedance.
No, that doesn't explain the direction.
Wait, well, explain why then. You can't just say nuh-uh.
I'll explain to you why. Because it doesn't denote the direction.
It doesn't know the direction. Directionality is a listen. Directionality is
the direction.
Oh, directionality is determined based on the density relationship. We can do this with experimentation. We can experimentally prove that.
Something cause something else to
Right? Why does it?
Oh yeah. Listen. The leaf has a density. The leaf has a density. The air has a density.
So
the tree is acting as the physical impedance of that leaf, reacting to the medium of the air. Once it falls off the tree, the physical impedance has been removed.
Mistake. The mistake once it falls.
For you,
when you said once, you made the mistake.
Okay, I didn't say what right there. So you just can't respond to the premise. So it's the removal of physical impedance.
It could have went up or it could have went to the left.
No, it went down. It went down because it has more density than the air.
That doesn't matter.
It does matter because we can replicate this with demonstration and experiments.
But your
you can't
about it doesn't make any sense.
No, dude.
Hold on. You're simply saying that because something has more density, it has to go towards something that has more density. That doesn't make any sense unless you acknowledge.
I didn't say that.
Involved. Well, then I guess you
didn't say that at all.
Your previous statement. Thank you.
I didn't say no. You strawman me. So because I'll explain it because a helium balloon has density, but it goes up. So you strawman me and said because you said a density goes towards another density. No, I never said that stupid shit.
You're saying that.
No, that's what you're saying. I'm saying, but I never said that stupid shit.
Let's look at this philosophy.
Why does it go down?
Well, let's look at this
because of the
philosophy.
density relationship of the object and the medium it's encompassed in.
Between one object and another object.
No, not one object and another object. One object and the medium it's encompassed in.
Really, the medium?
So yeah, you clown.
Wait, watch this. So you're saying that the medium is the only thing that causes things to go up or down?
The relationship between the medium and the object.
Watch. So you got two balloons, right?
Yeah.
One is filled with air, one is filled with helium. They're both the same volume. Yeah?
Okay.
Right? One goes up, one goes down.
Where's gravity?
Relationship. Describe to us this relationship. Why does one go up and one go down?
Yeah. There's less density in the helium balloon, so
how do you know?
It rises.
No.
How do we know? Helium is less dense than air.
Help me out, bro. How do you know?
Helium is less dense than air.
How do you know?
Oh my god.
How do you know?
Are you disputing that helium is less dense than air?
I am asking, how do you know?
Okay, well, a very easy way to know and demonstrate it would be by testing its relative to different mediums.
Zanuck, you're welcome.
I just dismantled you, dude.
Right. Yeah, Zanuck, go ahead.
Hey, I yield. Go ahead, guys.
Yeah, you need to.
Unmute him. Is it muted?
Oh,
thank you for that. I mean, Jesus. I've got to settle this down a bit. Yeah, that's a good one, Flatten. I do appreciate that. But, what's it? It's this thing about
oh, for goodness.
When a leaf falls off a tree, it accelerates.
Yeah.
Things just don't accelerate on their own without a force because F equals ma is a law. It's a law of nature.
So you just made a claim and invoked an equation, and then now I'm supposed to believe you.
When we talk about putting things on a scale, you said I assumed things. No, I had a known force. I was very, very detailed.
Go back to the tree.
You just interrupted me again. I was very detailed about the spring, 1-inch deflection causing a 10 Newton force. Applying that 10 Newton force to a 1 kilogram mass and watching it accelerate at 10 meters per second squared. That's what we measured. That's the result of that 10
That's how
newtons.
you measured and interpreted it, yeah.
But everything when we drop falls at 10 newtons per second, 10 meters per second squared. Isn't that interesting?
No.
We put it on a scale. However,
It's not interesting. It's expected.
No.
Yes, it is.
We put everything on scales now, that, to Jim's point, and we measure different amount of newtons. Newtons is a measure of the force.
Yeah.
So matter, any amount of mass, any amount of matter is mass. That is basically measured in newton, in kilos.
Okay, so you apply the measurement for force to weight, assuming there's a force there, and that's proof there's a force there.
That's why we correlate it. You
correlate it. You claim a correlation.
So again, I take the 1 kilo.
You just got this, man.
Remember, I put. Let me
Next.
finish, please. I put the 10 newtons on there and accelerate at 9.8 meters per second squared. We measured it on a table.
No one's disputing the acceleration.
9.8 meters per second squared. We measured it.
Yeah, an agreed upon average of the acceleration. No one disputes that.
Not down. You're not listening. On a railroad track, we have a 1 kilo train with very low friction wheels and things, and we put a known force, 10 newtons, because of that spring I told you about, and we measure the acceleration. So we know that mass equaling 1 kilo will always accelerate at whatever the rate.
So you saw how much force it took to get that metrical representation.
Hold on.
No, you have to interrupt me.
We had the 10 newtons. We applied it to that 1 kilo, and we measured 9.8 meters per second squared. We measured it.
Exactly. That's what I just said. You measured 9.8 meters per second squared, and then that's how you came up with the amount of force measured in newtons that equate to that.
I took a guess. I got it right the first time. I didn't do that. I said I have a spring with a 9.8 Newton force measurement on it. We know that force is known value, not measured. Measurement? That's the mistake you made earlier. They got us all muted.
What is your point? So I'm talking about how you interpret that.
So now we take that 1 kilogram mass and we put it on a scale that's been calibrated to springs and the same and Newton forces as well.
Okay.
Hold on. Let me finish. It measures 10 newtons.
Cool.
So now we know that 1 kilo.
You calibrated your scale so you can actually use it.
Hold on. That 1 kilo weighs 10 newtons, but we take it to Mount Everest and it weighs 9.9.
Oh wow, something. You're just changing the whole. Yeah. Okay. So it's about.
So it's not the same.
I'm challenging how you interpret the data, Zanik.
No, we're measuring the data.
Why do you say
measuring
no?
it?
We're
measuring it.
What?
We're measuring it.
You know what? I'm telling you what my contention is, Zanik.
Measuring it, dude. Zanik, you're repeating yourself now.
I'm telling Zanik, you have to respond to my contention.
What is your contention?
You don't ever know because you have no intentions of having an actual conversation, dude.
I do, actually.
Well, then you have to hear what I say too, bro.
Well, you're not listening to anything I said at all because you keep on getting my example wrong.
No, because my response is still the same. It's about I'm disputing the interpretation of the data. You are drawing correlations that are presupposing a cause. I'm actually containing the cause. So every time that you tell me about how we can metrically represent acceleration and how we can define it and then metrically represent it with newtons and all these different mathematical constructs we've come up with, literally is a non sequitur. It's literally a non sequitur to my premise.
Hey, can we talk about that? The interpretation of the data for a second, because
no, you can't talk about it because WITSIT can't properly describe it.
We'll see real quick. I don't want to go because I don't want to take too long.
Well,
on
it's very
this.
simple, Kosha. The data says that you say it's
whoever's
a force.
interrupting me. I really don't want to take too long trying to do this, Chemo.
Well, that's the point. That's what we're focusing on. Is it a force?
Always got to do that, man. You just
can I wrap it up, or do you want to take over?
Oh, y'all are freaking out. Just let Kosho talk, man. Jeez.
Yeah. Kosho, you want to wrap it up, or do you want me to finish up my last statement?
I'd rather let Kosho talk.
I mean, if you're making a last statement, I suppose.
Just let Kosho talk.
Go on, Kosho.
We could.
You're repeating yourself quite a bit.
I'd rather hear Kosho for sure.
I know you would because
I've already responded to you, dude. You're circular,
and you're trying to talk in circles about.
That's what you're doing. You're self-projecting.
Relative density, and that's just not true because we can talk about the vomit comment to the cows come home, and that disputes the whole relative density.
Kosho, what's up, dude?
Can I got 30 seconds here. Let me take it. I got to see the clock.
No, Zanik.
I got
Kosho.
Zanik. Past the clock.
It's on. You know it was 10 newtons before you put it on the scale.
Kosho's been waiting for ages.
Try to take like 10 seconds though.
Get your 30 seconds, Kosho. Go on.
Well, no, I was just gonna tell because we've been talking about it in here. Dan Fessler and Moyak and well, all of us have been talking about it, but 3 of us have been talking about doing a test where we measure helium in a homogeneous medium, so just by itself with nothing else. Nothing else in there, just this helium. So basically, like the idea of putting helium in a vacuum chamber, for instance. And my question was whether or not you thought that it was going to be even in all areas, even pressure, or if you could measure a pressure gradient from even a little difference in height.
30 seconds. 30
there might be a slight difference.
That's what I was going to ask, is the interpretation of this. So what would make you make that prediction? What is the helium doing in that situation where that?
Well, the helium naturally wants to go up because of the environment around the chamber.
Oh, you think there'll be a pressure difference, but upward, like there'll be a higher pressure upward?
Saying there will be a pressure difference in. Are you saying that the pressure will be the same in the container as the environment?
I guess there's 3.
Because helium, like say, if you do it to the surface level, helium is going to be less dense in its environment, although contained. I'm saying it's very possible that you would see a slight fluctuation.
So like I said, there's three scenarios. It stays the same all throughout, or it's higher pressure above or higher pressure below. But I want to remind you that there's no other gases in there with the helium. So if it's wanting to go up above itself, it may just be going above itself.
Well, it's encompassed in an environment, though. It's just in a chamber.
So think of it as just a giant balloon.
Yeah, it's not in a balloon, though. It's in a vacuum chamber.
Okay, well, I responded to your premise. I responded to the premise. So, is there someone else?
Well, hold on. Hold on. So, because WITSIT, because what Kosho
can't just say it's wrong.
Well, I know, but that's what people are jumping in, but it is absolutely wrong.
I just want to hear from WITSIT. I want to hear from WITSIT. WITSIT, do you think the helium was
separated from the atmosphere?
Do you think the helium?
I can't hear both of you at the same time, man.
Let me just ask him quickly, Kosho. So Kosho thinks that the helium will settle at the bottom of the container.
Is that what I said, Kimo?
Yeah, you were saying that the helium, remember yesterday, it will settle at the bottom in the gradient.
I didn't say that yesterday. I corrected you when you said I said it yesterday. Didn't say it today either.
So what will happen to the helium then?
So
in the
keep trying, Kimo. But
wait, I already responded though.
Yeah, you said that it's gonna match with the atmosphere, because even though
I didn't say that.
Not in there with it, you said it's gonna want to still go up.
I didn't say match with the atmosphere, but yeah, sure.
Yeah, well, then why would it be going up then? If it's not with the,
what I'm saying is helium is less dense than air. So if you do this at the surface level where there's 14.7 psi of air around whatever chamber you're keeping the helium in, there is possibility that there will be slight fluctuation because the helium is less dense in its environment, although it's contained.
I have a question for
I did just post a picture of this if you wanted to see it.
Okay. Cool.
That needs to be finished, because that's ridiculous what he just said.
Yeah, exactly. I'm trying to respond to the dumbass thing he just said, but you guys want to jump in and say some shit. Like, you can actually
no, hold on.
You said the dumbest thing just now about the atmosphere influencing it, even though it's not in any way attached to it.
It's around it.
Hold on. My question will clarify things up. WITSIT, will you define us what is density and what it's made of, or what's the component of density, please?
No, nice guy. You're going away from the point.
No, hold on. I asked the fucking question. Please answer.
Yeah, that you're trying to divert the conversation. Kosho thinks he can respond. I want to hear it.
I got a question for you.
I want to hear Kosho respond because he said it was dumb. So let's hear it.
It was just stupid what you just said.
Well, that's not an argument, so let's hear it.
Both not connected with the atmosphere.
It's running from my question.
In no way in
regular balloon is
what is going on?
Yet the medium of the atmosphere is influeing some gradient inside the
so if I have a chamber of gas, Kosho, at the surface level, and then I go really, really high in the air, will anything change in that chamber?
Nope.
No.
Okay. So when we're talking about helium and it's less dense than the environment of the air around it, and the air around it is significantly greater than this little chamber you have, although it is contained, right? That air pressure around that container is still pressing onto that container also, or hitting it.
Yeah, sure.
So that pressure still encompasses the helium that's less dense. So I speculatively said, I don't find it to be out of pocket that there would be a very, very slight, and I'm literally speculating, a slight fluctuation because of the fact that there is, in fact, a more dense medium around the chamber.
It doesn't make a difference, man. Have you ever seen a vacuum chamber?
How does it not make a difference?
I'm trying to tell you. If you ever seen the vacuum chamber, the pressure outside the vacuum chamber is not going to some way influence what's going on inside.
That's not true, man. If I take
the only relevance it'll have is that you'll have to make a bigger. You have to use more energy to, make it less and less of a atmosphere. But once you take the atmosphere out of it, it's not influencing it anymore. It's not going to influence.
How is a regular helium balloon affected by the atmosphere?
It's a latex container.
No, Coach. It just doesn't affect it very greatly.
Even the other types of balloons that are completely contained will still rise.
Yeah, those are. It's not the same. It's not the fucking same thing at all, dude. Those
are the same thing. You think of the helium chamber as a big ass balloon.
No, dude.
Dude, it's so funny though. Think about this. He called me a dumbass, and he's trying to act like when that. Listen. I'm a dumbass, but you're trying to act like whenever you make that chamber of gas and you have it at the surface level, even though we know that gas is going to be hitting all over that container, the walls and all over each other, you're telling me that actually they're all have a downward bias being pulled down, even though some go directly up. And
Right, that's what I said.
No, I want to
respond to what you said, but I'm gonna let Moya.
Yeah, but Kosher, you lied. Well, hold on, I want to clear this up, Kosher, because you said yesterday, Kosher, you just lied. But Kosher, you lied about what was said. I just said that you said that you said that.
Mute your mic, buddy.
Kosher, hold on a second, Kosher. Let me respond to what was said here. A second, Kosher. Let me respond to what was said, because you said that the helium will pool at the bottom.
I'm not doing this with you right now, dude. I'm in the middle of talking to somebody else.
And then now you said you didn't say that.
Coach, Chemo, can I speak again?
Y'all making claims contrary to natural law. Can y'all please explain it?
To me, I just said, Mike, you can go after me. Chemo wants to ask me a dumbass other question from a conversation.
It's the same question.
Downward bias on the gas molecules in the chamber. Hey guys,
let Chemo get in here. I
know. I'm trying to make a point because Kosher. I said to Kosher yesterday about the gases. He said that they would pool at the bottom. They would be at the bottom, and then he said today that's not what he said, and now he's saying he said that.
I told you yesterday that's not what I said. Every time you brought it up. So every time you use those words, I specifically described it in a different way.
So you're saying there's a downward bias.
Hold on. He said something else. Let's move on. I have a question.
Hold on. Hang on. Before you ask that question, Kit asked me ages ago if he could ask WITSIT a question. So I'd like him to be able to do that if you don't mind. And then you can definitely go. Go ahead, Kit.
Why don't I ever get a chance, fucker?
Just stick it in the queue, Moyoc, and I'll add you to the list. Just stick it in the chat that you. Are you with us, Kit?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can.
Yes, we can.
Okay, yeah. Sorry, I didn't really have a question for WITSIT. I just wanted 30 seconds when you were giving out 30-second increments.
Okay, yeah. Go ahead. Even better.
Okay, I'm gonna read something from NASA.gov. It's titled "How Do We Know the Earth is Round?"
I'll give you 45
Humans have known
seconds,
that the Earth is round. Humans have known that the Earth is round for more than 2,000 years. The ancient Greeks measured shadows during summer solstice and also calculated the Earth's circumference. They used the positions of stars and constellations to estimate distances on Earth. They even could see that the planet's round shadow on the moon during a lunar eclipse. Oh, that's it for me. I gotta go. Thanks.
All right, that's a cool story. Let's respond to all of it. So, use sticks and shadows. I'm only using two, presupposing a distance sun with parallel rays, as opposed to, of course, a local sun with divergent rays. And everyone knows that's laughably dumb as fuck. And the fact that it's on NASA should be very self-evident that your priests are pretty much dumb as fuck as well. Also, you just said that they knew it based on the eclipses, even though the eclipses being predicted very accurately predates anything that the crazy pedophiles the Greeks did. So that's also stupid and dumb as fuck. And this is all on NASA. So, but I think that's all I got to, right?
So someone who accepts something from NASA is crazy and dumb.
Yeah.
And all
And
all ancient Greeks were pedophiles.
Well, but the people at the top, the people
we should definitely take you seriously.
Cool straw man. What I said was, they predicted the eclipses long before them.
Well, you dismissed the Greeks on the basis that they were crazy pedophiles.
No, I did not. No, I did not. That wasn't my argument.
That was your argument.
No, that was just an additional piece of information for anybody that's actually want to research. They actually have these weird little creepy occultic rituals with their mystery schools, which the people that propagated heliocentrism were at the top of the schooling curriculum foundation in Greece. So maybe you should research your religion more. That's why I said it. But it doesn't actually matter. My argument wasn't that they were pedophiles. My argument wasn't that they were pedophiles. That's a straw man. My argument wasn't that they were pedophiles. That's a straw man. My argument wasn't that they were pedophiles. That's a straw man.
Crazy pedophiles.
And then what I say?
Fact.
Dumbass.
Do you have any
what did I say after that, Jim?
Any ancient Greek that's been referred to? So basically, Eratosthenes was a crazy pedophile.
Oh no! Actually, NASA referred to the Greeks as a holistic collective.
And you're
so you maybe need to learn how to read and comprehend a little better.
You're a grown
so
man
anyway,
who claims the Earth is flat, but you mock someone that accepts something from NASA.
Right. Okay. Now that you stroked your gamma ego, we're gonna get back to some substance that you're afraid of. So what I said was the eclipses claim doesn't mean anything because they could accurately predict eclipses long before the Greeks, who had some weird sexual preferences. So when I say something like that my argument isn't that they were pedophiles, and we all know it. So to tout their interpretation, shut up. To tout their interpretation of the eclipse
to eclipses.
It's not.
What does pedophilia have?
It's nothing. Okay. So to tout the interpretation of the eclipses when the predictability of them long predates them is stupid and incredibly dumb. And for that to be on NASA, it should be self-evident that's about the level of competence that you're dealing with, and y'all are going around defending. So that was my point.
As long as we're agreed that the things you are saying are completely irrelevant, I'm happy with
that. They're absolutely irrelevant.
No, then nice.
No. They're exposing the fraudulent claims. In the NASA thing that he just read, he only made 2 claims. The sticks in the shadows, Aristophanes, been disproven, assumes a parallel rays and distant sun.
No one cares, man.
Yeah, no one cares because you don't care about actual substance.
It's not the point. No one cares.
You're weak-minded, and the only way that you can continue to function is you have to have the approval of this group of people, right? Like you really need to, dude. All I'm trying to say for everyone here, y'all don't need. Listen, y'all don't need to worry about what other people think. Well, you said no one cares, dumbass.
That's another topic, dude.
I was talking about the topic, and you jumped in and said no one cares. I'm explaining the reason you said that is you're self-projecting an intellectual insecurity issue where you have to conform to consensus, and you need mob mentality to support your worldview. So how about you worry about yourself and stop self-projecting your insecurities? You're trying to divert away from the substantive conversation.
Telephone. Yeah, that's that.
All right, now that we can calm back down.
Killing y'all.
That sounds like a premiere.
We can calm back down, right? Like, all I'm saying is, dude said, can I get 30 seconds here at NASA.gov? And both the claims from the top tier people, dude, are provably fraudulent. So anyone that opens their mind, y'all should go look into it, man. That should be a red flag.
Be fraudulent in NASA?
The claim of Aristophanes is provably fraudulent.
How is it provably fraudulent?
Well, do you have the primary documentation of it happening?
No.
Well, if you claim it happened, well, listen, if you claim it happened, then my question is...
Hold on. I haven't claimed anything.
NASA is claiming that Aristophanes happened. We're talking about NASA, Jim. No one cares about you. We're talking about NASA.
We're talking about you and
no, we're talking about NASA.
And your claim that something is
fraudulent.
Provably fraudulent.
Right.
So what proof do you have that something is that what we're talking about? Eratosthenes on NASA. Because I thought it was NASA.
There is, when I say provably fraudulent, it's falsifiable. We falsified it because what you do is like, okay, you're saying that you're telling me, listen, man, you're telling me,
and provably fraudulent.
Okay,
totally different things.
Okay,
so which is
it's falsified. You're making a positive claim that this dude did that. I'm like, oh, okay, so this dude did that a few thousand years ago. Okay, I'll believe you, I guess, but well, just show me some evidence of it. Where's the documentation of it? Oh, we don't have it. Oh, where's the validation process of the distances? Oh, they didn't do that.
That doesn't prove it didn't happen.
So they didn't even do that within the story that you don't have the primary documentation for. You making the positive... Wait, I'm almost done. You're making the positive claim...
No,
NASA is making the positive...
NASA
you did. Is making the positive claim...
WITSIT, I did not.
I made a negative claim, Jim Panda. You don't know the difference. Right. If I said it didn't happen, that's a negative claim, Jim.
Right.
NASA made the positive claim that it did happen. You need to keep up.
Right. Okay. You need to keep up.
No, you're way behind.
I joined the conversation by asking you this question.
No, we're talking about NASA, Jim.
Listen! At no point have I made any claims at all. I haven't made a claim.
What
so
a coward.
Again, let me finish.
You're a
so
coward.
do not again try and lay a claim on me that I haven't made.
Okay, well then I'm not trying to lay it on.
Hang on. You did make a claim. A positive claim that something is provably fraudulent. I want some backing for your positive claim that you have proved something to be fraudulent. That's what I want. Your claim, not my claim, your claim.
Yep. So
what have you proved to be fraudulent?
All right, can you shut up?
Show me the evidence.
You're just screaming, dude. Okay, so NASA made the claim. I was responding to NASA's positive claim by saying their claim isn't true. That's a negative claim.
You said you've proved it's provably
I
fraudulent.
already changed it and said, okay, we falsified it. It isn't true. I'm saying their claim isn't true. There's no evidence for it. I changed it. So how about you respond to
anything?
You're making a positive claim. So listen, if you make a
falsified it,
baseless assertions can be dismissed upon the fucking grounds there's no evidence, and we all know.
How do you know it's a baseless? What makes?
Well, what's the evidence then, Jim?
What's
the evidence it happened? No, that's a negative claim, dude. If you say something didn't happen, that's negative claim.
Well, the evidence that it happened, I believe, is other Greek writers. It's mentioned in Almagest, I believe.
Okay, so the person that did it, we don't see what he said he did or anything.
One of these other Greek writers.
So there's no primary documentation of it happening.
But how is that relevant?
It could be done today.
So
why would he even do it then? And what was it? He obviously didn't think it was that important. He didn't even document that he did it.
It may be anecdotal.
How have you proved that it didn't happen?
No, that's not how that works. You're claiming it did happen.
Again, I haven't made a claim. I repeatedly said
NASA claimed it happened.
No, I haven't made a claim. You made a claim.
NASA claimed it happened.
Look, NASA aren't here. There's no one from NASA here. The only person who made a claim was you. And you said, firstly, that it was provably fraudulent. Then you abandoned that and switched it for falsifiable, which just means that it's possible to prove it wrong, not that it's been proved wrong. And then you said you'd falsified it, which means you have proved it wrong. But all you've come up with so far is you haven't got enough evidence to say it's right. That's all you're saying. You haven't proved anything wrong.
Jem, you don't need to prove it wrong if it's never been.
No, Jem was crushed.
Never been supplied.
Jem was crushing.
You do.
Yeah,
yes,
Jem's crushing.
Percentage.
You don't disprove something.
All right, I'm going to say the truth now.
You do percentage if you make the claim that you've proved it to be false.
Okay, but hey, did I retract that statement, Jim Panda? No, shut up. Jim Panda, did I retract the statement, yes or no?
You swapped it for you.
Okay, then stop saying it, you little douchebag. Now respond to the actual premise.
I did. I mentioned both of your claims.
No, it wasn't my claims. So what happened was you gave the floor to you gave the floor. You have to interrupt me. You have to interrupt me because you're a gamma. Okay, so
it was
stop interrupting me.
You falsified it.
Jem,
okay,
it's falsified inherently on the basis that conceded because there's no evidence for it.
Listen, another person in this server, he had 30 seconds, right?
It's written about by the other Greek writers.
Some dude got 30 seconds, and so he read off a NASA page. So then I was just trying to respond to that. That's what started it. And then once again, what Jim does, he jumps in mid-conversation, wants to dissect and misrepresent something I said in a response to a positive claim made by someone on his side, and then he wants to say that I didn't make a claim. We're talking about NASA, Jim Panda. We're talking about the priest of your religion, Jim Panda.
I was addressing your claim.
No, I'm addressing NASA's claim, Jim.
I don't care.
Well, you don't care, but you still revere them as a credible source.
During the process of addressing NASA's
they make fraudulent claims, and you don't care, but then you say they're credible.
There you go again. You're saying they've made a fraudulent claim. How do you know that?
Because if they can't provide evidence for their claim, it can be dismissed upon those grounds.
Well, their claim is that that Eratosthenes performed this measurement.
Is there any documentation that proves that?
Yes, like I say, it's I believe it's Almagest that it's covered in.
But so he didn't do it. Someone else wrote about the story that he did it. But is there any primary? Okay, so some story was started that this dude did it, right? So that's the origin of the story. So that's not very sufficient evidence.
It's something that it's something that happened.
It doesn't even matter if it was
it's
done or
something.
not.
I know it doesn't matter, but it's just funny that NASA brings it up.
Assumption they make.
It's something that happened in ancient Greece, and obviously the evidence for that is fairly sketchy, like all things that happened in ancient Greece. But that's not the point. You made the point, firstly, that it was provably fraudulent, then that it was falsifiable, and then that you'd falsified it. And you haven't.
Yes, we did. Well,
you just said, I don't believe it.
Yeah,
That's
right.
not
No, my friend, if you make a positive claim, you've got to provide empirical evidence that it happens.
Yes, you made the positive claim that you
NASA is making the positive claim.
No,
if I say something, dude, you're an idiot. If I say something isn't true, that's a negative claim. Dumbass.
No,
falsifiable means I'm saying it's not true. That's a negative claim.
You're asserting you've shown it to be true, that you've proved it to be true. You've shown how this thing is not true. That's a positive claim.
No, but he said he retracted that.
No. All I'm saying is that NASA made the positive claim that Aristophanes did this. All I'm saying is,
I don't care about NASA's claim.
well, your little buddy in here read it.
Your claim.
We were responding to the other dude's claims. You just always jump in, start screaming.
You're not addressing the context, and as such, you're trying
exactly. You jump in, you scream, you divert, you obfuscate, and then you.
One thing.
No, Jim, no one cares, dude. No one cares.
I care.
There was no
one person cares.
If there was no evidence substantiated for NASA's claim, then it doesn't need to be disproven. It's all right. It just
there is evidence of it. There is evidence of it.
I've mentioned it at least 6 times.
There is evidence of it.
Okay, Jim Panda doesn't agree with NASA.
It doesn't matter if you don't accept the evidence or you don't.
Jim Panda doesn't agree with NASA because he said he's not making. Jim Panda doesn't agree with NASA's claims in that document because he says he's not making that claim. So, are you making the claim, or do you agree with their claim or not?
No, I'm not making that claim.
Okay, so does anyone else in here actually want to make the claim NASA did?
I'm addressing
Jim Panda doesn't believe in what NASA said. Does anyone else in here want to support their claim?
I didn't say that. I didn't say.
So do you or do you not support the claim? It's irrelevant. This is a debate server. How's it irrelevant?
This isn't about me, WITSIT. It's about you and what you've said.
Oh, wow. So NASA made a positive claim. I'm calling bullshit.
No, you made a positive claim.
You don't have to clarify if you're saying the original claim is true or not. You're just going to say, I need to disprove the positive claim of another entity that you refuse to tout.
All you have to do is prove the things that you claim.
You want your cake and to eat it too, you know?
You call bullshit.
And your claim was,
I already explained why I called bullshit. There's no primary documentation of it.
Your claim was...
Secondly, it assumes a distant sun and parallel rays. And that's on NASA. That's how NASA said we know the Earth's round. You think NASA would say,
from talking,
dude? You would think NASA would say, you know how we know the Earth is round because we went to space.
I will.
NASA would say.
So the point is, WITSIT, you made the claim that you could that this was provably fraudulent. When I challenged you on that, you immediately abandoned that claim for it's falsifiable. Falsifiable means it's possible, logically possible, to show this thing to be untrue. It doesn't mean you've shown it to be untrue. It just means there is a logically possible way for you to do it. Then you said you'd falsified it. That then returns almost to your first claim that you proved something to be fraudulent. Now you're saying you've falsified it. You've shown how this thing is untrue.
Well, Jim, to be fair, he's now just saying you call bullshit.
Hang on. I'm just saying that there isn't enough evidence isn't falsifying something. Just saying
yes, it is.
That it absolutely is not.
Yes, it is, because when you make a claim, the burden of proof is on that claim. If you don't make
and he made the claim. He made the claim. He made the claim that he had falsified it.
He's amended it.
He made the claim. Okay. His claim, not NASA's claim. I didn't make a claim. At no point did I make a claim. I only joined the conversation
to address WITSIT's claim.
I agree,
And
Jem, but he has amended it. You have gotten him to amend his position to he is calling bullshit now. That's what he's...
Actually, no, just because the little gamma said that, listen to this. I'm absorbing everything I originally said. Provably fraudulent, falsifiable, and falsified, and here's how. Because the claim and the premise presented with the Eratosthenes being invoked is actually that it proves the Earth is round, and that the sun is being assumed that its distance in parallel rays. Shut the fuck up, Jim. Shut up, Jim.
So anyway, I didn't say any
no,
of that.
you mute me, monologue about me with a bunch of gammas for 3 minutes, and then you can't let me talk.
Well, you're saying
I'm doubling down, Jim. Let him double down.
I'm doubling down, and Jim's scared as fuck because he's got nothing. He's got a 2-7 offsuit.
I got your false claim.
You have a 2-7 offsuit, Jim. I'm calling your bluff. You better fold,
you
bro.
haven't. You've abandoned your claim.
All right, no, actually, I'm reabsorbing the claim.
The problem with it
so you're saying that it's provably fraudulent again now, are you? Okay, so let's see your proof that it's fraudulent.
Okay, so the premise that it demonstrates the Earth is round is provably fraudulent because it assumes a distant sun with parallel rays to support that premise, but you can have a local sun with divergent rays, which means objectively the premise is provably fraudulent. Mic drop, you lose 50th time today.
Because
Jesus.
that isn't what you claimed was fraudulent.
You've got to spend on your own server about 20 times today, and you keep on wanting it.
But that isn't what you. That isn't.
Now, here's the other little gamma jumping in, saying he retracted it, and now it's bullshit. What's your response?
That isn't what your claim was.
All right, Jim has no response. We know. Who's the other guy that was talking shit about me while I was on mute?
I'm responding now. You are talking over me while you're claiming I can't respond. Why are you doing that? Why are you lying?
Calm down, dude.
Well, why are you lying like that?
I'm not responding.
You're lying because you're saying I can't respond.
We'll just
while
respond.
I'm trying to respond to you.
Well, take a deep breath and respond, bro.
Why lie?
Calm down.
No, I won't calm down.
So he still can't respond.
And a grown man
You still can't
is
respond.
sitting in a server lying his teeth off in front of me. I won't lie. I won't.
It just sounds like you're addressing the man, but not addressing the heart of his claims, whether Eratosthenes really proven it. And so that's why I'm saying you can't address it, because it sounds like a cheap tactic to try to go ad hoc to avoid, addressing his claims. That's why he's saying that.
Lemon. You're talking shit, Lemon. WITSIT lies. That's it.
So you're going to avoid addressing his claims. Okay, well then we're just going to have to move on.
I'm not going to attempt to have a conversation
He
with
changed his claim.
like that.
He tried to say that it was provably fraudulent that the rays from the sun are parallel. That wasn't his claim. His claim was that the Eratosthenes, the fact that Eratosthenes had performed this experiment was provably fraudulent. Originally, he made it about NASA. He was saying NASA was provably fraudulent. He didn't even make it about Eratosthenes.
It was on the
I actually
NASA
kicked him
webpage.
by mistake because I was
The
going to
Eratosthenes
Don't
thing
be
was
stupid. This is
on
not
the
the time,
NASA
Don.
webpage.
Not the
Hey.
time to be this dumb.
You guys, but you guys
Don,
aren't.
you're
Jim's
off
only
point, Don.
90% right, man, and I think
Don,
you'd be
you're
better
off
off
point.
knowing the other
I don't care.
10%. So
You're
you
off
can
point.
hate me all you fucking want, but I'm compelled
off
to
point.
share. Sorry.
This isn't about hate. This is about you being off point, Don.
Look, I'm hearing what WITSIT's saying, and it doesn't sound like Jem is. So I'm trying to share, man.
Well, WITSIT did make claims about Eratosthenes not proving the shape of the Earth. Can Jem address that, or will he just address, WITSIT with an ad hoc sort of
He wasn't trying to prove
focus
the
on
shape.
his
He wasn't
inconsistencies in conversation?
He
Are you
wasn't-
going to address WITSIT,
WITSIT
or
said he could
are you
prove the
going to address
premise
the
Are you
claim?
going to
That's
talk
about
over me
it.
while I address it as well? Are you going to do that as well and then say I can't address it while you're talking over me trying to address it? He wasn't trying to prove the shape of the Earth. He already knew the shape of the Earth.
So you'd have to contend with WITSIT and basically give him the concession that it really doesn't prove anything, so let's look at other theories.
Well, it measures the shape of the Earth, right? It gives you a measurement of the shape of the Earth.
It gives you a measurement based off of certain assumptions that need to be proven.
No.
Well, I think they can be proven.
100%.
So now we
I
need to
think
look at the
the only-
paradigm
the
that they're
only
working
assumption-
with,
the
seeing
only
how it's
assumption
influencing the way
the
it's
only-
interpreting the data.
The only assumption is that the rays from the sun are parallel, right?
Well, also
Yeah,
that
that's
the
based
Earth
off
is
of
round.
That's based off two assumptions. which is that the sun is large and far, really, really, really large and really, really, really far.
That the rays are parallel, that the Earth is round, to give you those parallel lines, to give you the shape of the Earth in the
But we
first
can
place.
show all of those things to be true. Quite
Yeah,
easily.
Lemon, the Earth shape, they don't really assume this is because it's supposed to be a proof, right? So they're proving the
No, they're
Earth
not.
is
It's
round by
known.
assuming the other stuff.
It's
No,
known.
they were
assumed it
measuring
was
the
round.
radius. There would be a null radius if it was flat, possibly, but they kind of were. I mean, you know what I mean? Like,
I mean, if it wasn't round, then that 1/50th measurement that he got from Alexandria to Syene, that was 1/50th of the circumference of the globe, would be immaterial.
right?
It
They
would need
said
to
you
be
need a third
reinterpreted
one.
over a flat plane or with another paradigm in place. So there were key paradigm assumptions that were in place that influenced his interpretation of the data. If it's flat, those paradigmatic assumptions need to be checked for
Excuse me.
validity.
Okay, but you guys act as though nothing else has ever been done since then. More than sufficient measurements, way
Oh, no.
more than sufficient measurements.
Fuck it, it's
and
a
of the
globe.
same nature. Still can be done today. We can do it again tomorrow. Every time it comes out, globe
Making
the
the
size
same
we say.
assumptions.
You guys are done.
Same assumptions
This is
for
stupid.
500 years. People are not that creative. They do what they've been taught. They do what they've been
Lemon.
told. But it's time for a new
Lemon.
paradigm.
You assume that the Earth is flat.
Because the lasers and infrared say so, and because God said so in His Word. He's the one who made it. He's the one who's qualified
measurements to the sun, to the
Because
moon,
our senses say
and
so.
the measurements to
The
the sun and
census say
moon
it's
have
flat.
been proven.
How can census say that it's flat?
I said
It's
our
been-
senses.
The horizon is flat and no side-to-side curvature unless you're using distorting lenses. We need a new paradigm to interpret this data.
Lemon, you said that all lenses distort, right? So any picture of horizon is curved then. You can't have a picture of a flat horizon that doesn't curve if all lenses curve.
Oh shit!
So you always see a curved horizon. Your eyes are lenses. Those are curved, right?
Lemon, your ears broken?
He ran out of words from the bag.
You know what the first rule of flat Earth is, right? You don't talk about flat Earth.
Obfuscation?
You talk about flat Earth.
No, it's supposed to be
denial.
You know, personal research and validation. Y'all ain't gotta. Science ain't about mockery, guys.